Welcome back to the final FPL deadline stream of the season. We're a bit early here because we have over 2 hours 20 minutes until the deadline, but be sure to lock in your teams and make your final moves. I haven't done that just yet. I've got one free transfer, not much left in the bank, but I'm looking at a midfielder move, and it'll probably be Bruno Fernandes or Anthony Gordon making way for either Kai Havertz or Elise. That's likely to be my final transfer of the season, and there could be a change with the captaincy, but everything else is quite set in stone in my opinion, even though Petrovic versus Onana is quite a close battle, and even other key positions you could make a case for certain things happening. So for example, if I were to keep Bruno Fernandes and do Gordon to Elise, I could then have a benching dilemma on my hands and drop one of Jackson, Isak or Bruno Fernandes to the bench. So I'll cover all of that within the next 2 hours, as well as all your questions, talking about the best captaincy options, best players to buy, and the top differentials to win your mini leagues and reach your FPL objectives. Thank you to everyone who's supported the channel throughout the entire season, as we've reached new goals like 23,000 subscribers very recently. We're looking to get to new ones going into next season, such as 25k, and then pushing on to 30k. And of course, smashing the like button of every video and getting most of them to well over 100 and sometimes well over 200 as well. So let's get straight into your questions and comments as always. There are many links in the description below for my Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM. Be sure to follow me on those platforms. Check out Drafthound, the Discord server, which is a great community to be a part of for FPL, UCL Fantasy, and soon Euro Fantasy Football content, as well as World Cup Fantasy every 4 years. So welcome to everyone. It's always a pleasure. Let's get this video to 100 likes nice and early. So Taylor puts a very long scenario here. So number 1, Bruno Gordon to Havertz, Trossard, Elise. 2, Dunk Gordon to Tomiyasu Saliba, Trossard, Elise. 3, Dunk Bruno to Tomiyasu / Saliba / White, Trossard / Elise / Havertz. Number 4. Okay, so there's a lot of scenarios in here. I probably would stick with number 1. I think they're all good options, but I probably would go for number 1 there. Man United is finished, says my team is Raya, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Cucurella, Salah, Havertz, Palmer, Foden, Elise, Mateta and Jackson. Who should I bench for Isak? Tricky one. All of those midfielders and forwards look very solid for this week, but if I had to pick one to drop to the bench, it probably is Jackson. Best team for FPL Challenge this week, Dylan? I'll try to go into that later on, but I've only put 3 or 4 names in there. I haven't actually been able to make my FPL Challenge team so far. Maybe I can actually build the whole 50-man squad throughout this stream. Gakpo or Hudson-Odoi? I'd go for Gakpo. I think he's in great form. Even when Liverpool were faltering, I think Gakpo was one of the better players. He might not have gotten goals or assists, but his overall performances have definitely stepped up in recent weeks, so I'd go for Gakpo. Start Isak or Mateta? Very tricky one, but I'd go for Mateta. The home factor, he's got a great record at Selhurst Park, and Isak has been a bit off it in the last couple of games, mainly due to illness, if I'm not mistaken. Andy N says, sell KDB or Son for Elise? Probably KDB, but it's always difficult selling a player of that caliber. I think he'll start today, and yeah, he's got a great chance of hauling if that's the case, so it's always difficult, but I'd keep Heung-min Son. Captain Elise, mega differential, under 5% ownership. Honestly, I don't mind it. Now, once the deadline is done, I think his ownership will probably creep towards 10%. But honestly, I think Elise is a great differential, and the fact he's facing Aston Villa will put some people off. It doesn't really put me off, to be honest. I think Aston Villa have been quite leaky all season, and in the last couple of weeks, I think they have really fallen off a cliff. But luckily enough, so have Tottenham, and even worse so, and that's how they secure Champions League football. Kai Havertz or Trossard? Yeah, Trossard's another one, always a bit underrated, and he scores so many clutch goals for Arsenal. It wouldn't surprise me if he scored the first one today, but I'd go for Kai Havertz. Alex says, best of luck. You've been awesome this year, mate. Thank you very much. Debating on whether to sell Saka to Havertz, but it would be for a -4. I wouldn't do that. Unless we got confirmation of Saka being benched or missing out entirely, which is very unlikely, I just keep Saka. And honestly, he's got a decent record against Everton. I think he's only scored once, but he's got a couple of assists as well, including the winner for this season for Trossard. It was Saka who gave the assist for that. And the last home meeting between Arsenal and Everton ended 4-0, and Saka got a goal and assist, and of course a double-digit haul in the process. Would you keep Fernandes? Can do Gordon, Isak, Fernandes to Elise, Mateta, Salah -8. The thing is with Fernandes, he's been great recently, and he's got a good record against Brighton, but I think he has blanked in the last 3 or 4 matches against the Seagulls, and I think it was in his first 4 matches against them where he was scoring or assisting, getting massive returns against them every single time. But I probably would sell Fernandes to the likes of Salah. I think that's definitely worth it. Even an Elise or Havertz as well. I think they are upgrades, at least on paper. But Fernandes is definitely someone you can make a case for holding on to. I think he's still a good option, but there are better alternatives elsewhere. Would I take that -8 hit specifically? It's difficult because as much as I like Elise, Mateta and Salah, there are some rumours of Gordon missing out entirely, and I wouldn't have started him this week anyway. Selling Isak and Fernandes for -8 is still a bit tricky. I think I'd just about go with it, but just obviously remember, the more hits you take, of course, the less chance you have of getting a green arrow. Of course, that might be a narrow-minded way of thinking about it, but I'm more open to taking hits in double game weeks or when you have multiple game weeks left. When we only have one remaining in game week 38, it becomes a bit more difficult. I'd probably say yes and take the -8 hit. Or Gordon to Elise, as I heard he hasn't travelled. Yeah, I think that's probably my preference. As much as I like Salah, I've been recommending him all week. I think Gordon to Elise for free is probably the best case scenario there. Yeah, I like the -8 option, by the way, because of the players you're bringing in, but I'd stick with Gordon to Elise if possible. Morning, Dylan. Trying to get into the top 100k. Good luck, Courage. Hopefully you do. Team is Raya, Gvardiol, Trent, White, Son, Foden, Palmer, Bruno, Mateta, Haaland, Isak, Bench, Neto, Eze, Aït-Nouri, Anderson. 1 free transfer and funds. Oh, so 1 million funds as well, right? If I read that correctly. So solid defensive line. No need to change that whatsoever. And you've got Trent in there, which could be a massive, you know, something different. That's for sure. Yeah, once again, it might seem boring, but for the midfield, I would recommend or consider Bruno Fernandes to either Havertz or Elise. And we can't forget Odegaard, Trossard and Eze. They're all good options, but I think Havertz and Elise are the standouts. Alex says Dubravka to Vicario. And by the way, you've got Eze, Courage. I'd start him if possible. Start him over Bruno, potentially. But yeah, I think that's what I'd look to do. So Alex says Dubravka to Vicario or Saka to Havertz. So on the one hand, you've got a goalkeeper transfer, which probably won't result in a massive gain, at least on paper. And then Saka to Havertz, which is a bit sideways. It can go either way. I think I'd rather do Dubravka to Vicario, to be honest. Ready for one last hurrah before Klopp goes? You never walk alone. Yeah, of course. I think the Premier League will miss Klopp. Of course, some people just dislike him, and he has his moments, but a great manager. Despite only winning 1 Premier League title, he's still one of the best managers in the Premier League's competition, in my opinion. And he's done very well to push Man City all the way on multiple occasions. And let's not forget, beyond the Premier League, he's won everything there is to win. Best differential captain to climb rank? I think Elise definitely springs to mind. Gary says, great content from our leader Dylan. Has been fantastic all season. Enjoy the summer. Rest, brother. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. No leaders or anything. There might be Euro Fantasy Football content, which I'm asked about a lot in the live chats and also the comments section. So if you kind of class that as a break, so be it. But there's also Use Your Fantasy videos and live streams over the next 2 weeks in preparation for the Champions League final. So there'll still be content on this channel, and it's always a pleasure making them. Taylor says, Eze or Elise or Trossard? Elise for me. They're all good options. I think Trossard's a nice shout too. Gary says Rice. I mean, he's shown incredible consistency in this calendar year in terms of goals and assists, which we never expected from Declan Rice. And I think in terms of assists, only De Bruyne has more amongst Premier League players, but that might have changed in the last few weeks. Gordon to Havertz or Flecken to Raya? Gordon to Havertz. I don't think Gordon will play. And to be honest, Brentford away, who have been in decent form, yeah, I think Gordon will blank regardless if he starts or not. Elise mostly gets double-digit points when he plays at home, so I'm going to captain him and maybe even Mateta. Yeah, I think Elise is just one of those differentials with a high ceiling and that could really pay off, so I'm on board with that, to be fair. Now, if I am to buy Elise, will I captain him? I'm not guaranteeing it, but he definitely will be in consideration, that's for sure. So I am a bit far behind in the chat because I'm trying to go for every comment, so try to be patient. I do appreciate those that are. And yeah, eventually I will catch up, don't worry. It might take a little while, but eventually we will get there. So Zenzone says Petrovic to Raya or Gordon to Elise in the top 100k, trying to finish within it. Won my mini league and head-to-head league. Congratulations. Thank you for all the information this season. I appreciate that, Zenzone. I'm going to have to go for Gordon to Elise. Obviously, Arsenal have, I'd say, the first or second best chance of a clean sheet on paper, but in Game Week 38, I've always said this, it tends to be a very high-scoring game week. and one of the biggest, in terms of goals scored amongst the entire season. So I'd always favour midfielder or forward transfers if possible. And in this scenario, Gordon to Elise, I think, has the high ceiling, and I could really see Elise getting a goal and assist against Aston Villa to round off the season. So that's why I'd go. Good lineup as well, by the way. Petrovic, Borrell, Gvardiol, White, Son, Palmer, Johnson, Foden, Haaland, captain, Jackson, Isak. Yeah, I'd buy Elise, and potentially I'd bench Johnson there. I know he's facing Sheffield United, but he's the weakest attacker in my opinion, at least in terms of the quality of player. West Ham to save English football. Look, if West Ham save English football in the way you're describing, I'd probably buy a West Ham shirt, but it's very, very unlikely in my opinion. There is still a chance, of course, and in football anything's possible. I think there will be a moment where it looks like Arsenal will win the league, but I'm going to try not to get sucked into that because, yeah, I mean, look at Liverpool a few years ago. You see Aston Villa 2-0 up against Man City at the Etihad, and then within 6 minutes, from 75 to 81, Man City end up winning the game. So, yeah, let's wait and see. Imagine City, if they lose against West Ham, the amount of memes will be crazy. Yeah, and obviously rival fans of Arsenal will kind of lose their minds because some Arsenal fans are very loud on Twitter, but trust me, not every Arsenal fan is like that. Pema says who to transfer in for Gordon. Elise, Trossard, Havertz or Eze or someone else. From those lot, I think Havertz or Elise, and I know you want one name, I understand that, but I'm literally in the same scenario myself where I'm deliberating between those two. So Havertz or Elise would be my top picks. Even Odegaard should be considered, but of course, in your scenario, you might want to narrow down the list rather than widening it and just making it more difficult. Bruno Maddison out for Salah and Eze, Elise, Trossard for a -4. If yes, then which one of the three? Difficult because Maddison's been in poor form, but he's got a great fixture this week. Bruno Fernandes has been in great form, but the fixture is a bit meh because of Man United and how inconsistent they've been. And their recent record against Brighton is very poor. Apart from the FA Cup semi-final win last season, I think Brighton tend to get the better of Manchester United, both home and away. So that's difficult. Yeah, I think the Salah factor just kind of decides it for me. I'd go for Salah and Elise there for a -4 hit. Flinke Pear says 2 free transfers and a triple captain. What should I do, my friend? It's hashtag help me. So choose to take one in the local league. Yeah, of course. Any chips remaining, be sure to use them. Not just the triple captain, but it could be wildcard, free hit, whatever. It could actually pay off. So 2 free transfers. I don't know who you have already, but I think one of Elise or Havertz, possibly even both, could be great acquisitions this week. If you are kind of stacked in the midfield and forward line and you want a defender, I think Arsenal ones like White, Saliba and Gabriel are definitely right up there. As for triple captain, I'd say Haaland if you want to preserve rank. Yeah, and in terms of chasing it a little bit, I'd be looking at the likes of Palmer, probably Foden as well would enter my thinking, and Salah. I have to say, if you've got Salah, or if you can buy Salah, I'd get him and maybe even triple captain him. But obviously remember, even triple captaining Haaland will actually be a differential because most people have used that chip already and most people will have the armband on him but not the triple captaincy. So it's all completely up to you, but if you can, buy Salah and one of Havertz or Elise and a triple captain Salah or Haaland depending on your rank and what you want to do yourself in terms of preserving or chasing. Good morning, Dylan. Thanks for the info. Top of my mini league by 52 points. Really good. It's nice to have that kind of commanding lead, and you never know, but it's very, very unlikely. It's kind of like the City versus Arsenal chances of winning the title, so you've pretty much got in the bag. Congratulations. Just make sure you haven't taken many hits and you're all good. Dylan with a clean cut. No beards to scratch when City wins, says Courage. Fair enough. Yeah, I think the beard was is a main reason why I just went for a haircut because it was a bit out of control. Brighton attackers, Man United kept 2 clean sheets in the last 19 games. Yeah, but then look at Spurs, and a lot of us have Pedro Porro or Vicario, Van der Ven or Romero, and they haven't kept a clean sheet in 17 matches. Yeah, I think Brighton attackers are decent. Pascal Gross. It's kind of a tricky one with João Pedro because he's always in and out of the team with injury, which is a shame. But that's not a bad shout. Welbeck, of course, scored in the last game, and he has something, I think, between his teeth against Manchester United, his former club. So, yeah, I'd say Welbeck or Gross would definitely stand out if you want to go a bit different. And it also, you know, kind of builds upon your name. Man United is finished. Hey, Dylan, I'm on free hit. Would you pick Trossard or Elise? Eze? Elise for me. They're all good options, but Elise stands out. Chase says, hey, Dylan, KDB expected to start? If he doesn't, I have Wood coming off the bench. I have 2 free transfers. Should I sell Wood to Mateta or Manice? I'd go to Mateta there, and I wouldn't mind starting Mateta whatsoever. Or should I just sell KDB? Midfielders KDB, Foden, Havertz, Son, Palmer. I personally think KDB starts, and I'd keep him if possible. If you had a lot of money in the bank, KDB to Salah, I think pays off regardless of whether KDB starts or not. But yeah, definitely Wood to Mateta is a great option, and I wouldn't mind starting him. Vicario or Petrovic? Probably Vicario this week, but as I just mentioned, no clean sheets in 17 games for Tottenham, if I'm not mistaken. A very poor defensive record. KDB or Foden? Foden. Ruler 2 says, hey Dylan, Vicario, Saliba, Gordon, De Bruyne and Isak to Gakpo, Trent, Salah, Ortega and Havertz. I like the transfers, but I'm just wondering how many hits are you taking here? And I wouldn't necessarily sell Saliba to Trent. I don't think that's worth it. So that's one transfer you could avoid. Vicario to Ortega. Yeah, you know what? I think I just keep Vicario and Saliba. If anything, just do Gordon to Havertz, for example. And if you can't afford it, then maybe do De Bruyne as well out and, you know, get things done that way. But I definitely think Saliba to Trent isn't worth it. And then I'm looking at Vicario to Ortega. Yeah, I'm also not on board. I'm guessing that particular move is to fund the other ones, but I think that's too many hits. Are you going to risk it to push into top 100k or play relatively safe? I'm in a similar rank. Yeah, it's a great question because a lot of us will be in a similar situation. It might not be top 100k, it might be top 10k or top 1 million, whatever it may be. I think my current plan is to play a bit safe, and I have done it all season. And one thing I found is whenever I go against, you know, the kind of template captaincy, I've been burnt. And the two occasions that spring to mind for me are captaining Watkins, I think, against Burnley at home. He got 2 assists, 8 points on his birthday, everything looked good. The day later, Salah gets 16 points and I lose out on 8. And then just 2 weeks ago, I captained Foden instead of Haaland, 16-point swing against me. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably be in the top 100k right now or just outside it, and I'd be very confident of securing that top 100k finish. So yeah, it's a difficult one, but my current plan is to buy Elise or Havertz and captain Haaland, so I'd class that as relatively safe. That might change though. Mateta or Gakpo, and should I go with 2 Crystal Palace attackers? Gakpo's a great shout, I have to say that, but I'd go for Mateta. Salah or Haaland as captain? Salah for me. If I had Salah, I would captain him, trust me on that, but I don't have the funds to go to him. I'd have to take a -4 hit, and I'm not so sure if it's worth it. It could be, but I'm not sure if I'll take a hit this week. Jackson or Isak? Mini league rival 10 points behind. Has Isak though? Well, from that perspective, you could cover him by just starting Isak. I'd personally favour Isak anyway, but just about. And in terms of recent form, I think Jackson has been slightly more impressive. Do I need to fit a Spurs player in my free hit draft? If so, how? Goalkeeper Raya, defence Trent, Gavardio, White, midfield Salah, Palmer, Foden, Elise, Saka, Haaland, Gakpo. Not necessarily. It would be Borro in the back line or Salah in the midfield. Possibly Gakpo up front, but yeah, you've got Gakpo already. But yes, Spurs players, just yeah, Son, Borro, and that's about it really. I can't think of anyone else that really springs to mind. Of course, you could get a Romero bullet header. It wouldn't surprise me, but you don't need to get a Spurs player necessarily. The one I think that could cost you a little bit is Son, but that's about it. Forest assets, which do you prefer? Gibbs White, Wood, Hudson-Odoi. Gibbs White. I think he's the one that really has stood out in the second half of the season. Hudson-Odoi has had some good matches and some big moments, but I'd go for Gibbs White there. Salah captain, yep. 100% from me. Matt's Collectible says Bruno to Elise, Wilson to Gakpo, Klopp's last game, hard to get in Salah. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? I'd say Gakpo's the second best attacker to buy from Liverpool. So, yeah, I'm on board with that. Dubravka to Vicario or Burn to Borro and bench Isak. Dubravka to Vicario, although it seems a bit boring. Very boring indeed. Goalkeeper transfer in the last game week of the season. It's not really what you want to do, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Triple Arsenal defence for a -8. I wouldn't do that, personally. Spurs are in crap form. Won't be surprised if Crapfield United keep a clean sheet against them. Now, I think Spurs will score. My issue is, will they keep a clean sheet? And I couldn't count on it. I really couldn't. Son to Salah is a good option. That's very tricky. I think for a free transfer, I'd do it. For a -4 hit, I'd probably just stick with Son. Weird one. Would you bench one of Wood or Gibbs White for De Bruyne? I'd bench Chris Wood for De Bruyne and start Gibbs White. I think Chris Wood's been awful recently. Dubravka to Vicario is the only obvious transfer I can see. Rest of my team is template. No clue what to do. Kind of hoping Saka is out so I can punt on someone. Yeah, I agree with the goalkeeper transfer. That's what I do. Good day, Dylan. Should I remove Burn to an Arsenal defender, or play Burn or Dallo and do Gordon to Havertz Elise. To be honest, Lager, I'd do both. I really would. I don't think Newcastle keep a clean sheet against Brentford. I know it was 1-0 in the reverse fixture, but I don't think that'll be the case this time round. So yeah, Burn to either Gabriel, White, Saliba, and I'd buy either Havertz or Elise for Gordon. If you can do both, I'd take the -4 hit. I'm 20 points ahead in my mini league. I have 2 transfers. Please advise. 1, Edison to Ortega, Fernandes to Saka. 2, Edison to Ortega, Fernandes to Salah. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to lie. They're all good options, even number 3. I'm going for number 2, though. I'd buy Ortega and Salah. I think that's what I'd look to do. It's quite close, though. I think the third option is really appealing. Number 1 would be bottom of the list, although I like Saka a lot. I just really like Salah. Buying him in for the final game week is a massive differential. I'd go for number 2. Hello, Dylan. Great stream as always. Borro and Trossard or Romero and Havertz. Thank you very much. I would go for Borro and Trossard, but just about. So what's best in this final game week? Differential or template? It's all circumstantial. Some of you might be looking to preserve rank, and in that case, of course, template will be the way, but I'd say if possible differential. So buying a Salah if possible, captaining him, getting Elise who's owned by only 3% of the game right now. Of course, that will change by the time we get to the deadline, but yeah, I'd say differential. I'm personally going a bit template, but I might change around, change my mind and just go for it, to be fair. I've got nothing to lose. Can West Ham turn it around? Well, could they do something for the title race? I mean, the chances are 1%. You need a miracle, if we're being honest, but there's a chance. I wouldn't count on it, though. I think City will win. I need some differentials. Gordon, Garnacho to Trossard, and Jota if he started in the starting 11. What should I buy, mate? All love and support. Yeah, Trossard's decent. Jota if he starts in the 11. I'd rather go for Elise. With Jota, he might get a cameo off the bench and score, but it's still not guaranteed. I'd rather go for Elise instead of Jota. Trossard's fine, though. Best differential forward today. Mateta. I think Mateta would spring to mind. Pema says, thank you for the session, Dylan. It helped me a lot. I haven't missed your weekly streams and will continue watching them in the next season too. Thank you very much, Pema. I'll see you, well, maybe in the summer, and if not, going into next season. Take care and good luck for Gameweek 38. Hey, Dylan. Final Gameweek of the season. Start 2 of Petrovic, Vicario, and Cucurella Romero. I'd go for Petrovic and Romero, I think. Morning, Dylan. Thanks again for all the content this season. I'm in 4 cup finals and leading the league. Great position to be in. All the best. You should win some of them, at least, so hopefully you do. And if you win all of them, that would be great. Who to bench? Borro, Saliba, Gabriel, Gvardiol. Or 4 at the back, benching either Jackson or Isak. I'd actually consider that. I'd bench an attacker. Very tricky thing to do, of course. That's so difficult. Yeah, for me, it's between benching an Arsenal defender or benching Jackson, I think. I think I'd bench Jackson, but I'm not entirely sure if I'm being honest. KDB out for Foden or Gordon for Elise? Gordon for Elise. Hey, Dylan, best 3 captaincy options. Salah, Haaland, and Palmer. Ortega Moreno starting. Yes, Edison's missing Gameweek 38. That's confirmed by Pep and Manchester City. And he will also miss the FA Cup final. So, yeah. Alisson or Petrovic? Alisson, if money is no issue. And which 2 would you sell between KDB, Gordon, Isak, and who would you sell them to? Best differentials. I'd sell Gordon for sure. I don't think he starts, and even if he did, I just don't think he's going to return. So yeah, Gordon for sure. Second player to sell, that's difficult. It really is. Maybe Isak. And who do you sell them to? Elise or Havertz in the midfield, and up front, probably Mateta. I start my triple captain. Foden or Haaland? Probably Haaland for me, but ultimately, it's very close. And yeah, I've been on the wrong end of the stick with the, when I captain Foden over Haaland in Gameweek 36. So that does play a part. There's always a bit of doubt after a decision like that, which leads to a 16-point swing. But it is what it is. I'd probably say Haaland. Isak to Gakpo. As much as I like Gakpo this week, I think I'd keep Isak. I think I really would. Dylan, are you optimistic about Arsenal's chances, or is there no chance at all? There is a chance, but if we're being realistic, the chances are less than 5%. You know, I'd say 1% if I'm being honest, because for West Ham to get a draw or win at the Etihad, they haven't done that since 2015, I think, and Pep Guardiola wasn't even at the club. Yeah, it's very unlikely. David Moyes has an awful record against top 6 opposition away from home. West Ham have been battered by many teams this season, 6-0 at home, against Palace away, 5-2 they lost. They lost 5-0 to Chelsea. So yeah, I'm not going to buy into it. All the best, Dylan. Yeah, as I mentioned a few times, it's possible I will do Euro Fantasy Football content, but I don't want to guarantee it just yet. Until I know for sure I can do it, then I'll give an announcement on the channel, but it's very likely I will. Yeah, it's just I don't want to say it's 100% happening when there is a chance it might not. Are you keeping Bruno Fernandes? I think I'll sell him. Hey Dylan, I have Foden, Fernandes, Palmer, Son. Who's the best captain? I'm chasing in my mini league. I'd probably go for Palmer there. Bench 1, Foden, Bruno, Son, Isak. I would bench Bruno Fernandes, I think. It's between him and Isak. I'd definitely start Foden and Son. Start Jackson or Isak. Probably Isak, but that's a gut feeling. And Jackson has been impressive recently. Start Alvarez or Wilson. That's a tricky one. I'd start Alvarez. I'm a Chelsea supporter. Arsenal helped the women's team to lift 5 consecutive women's Super Leagues. Yeah. And of course, it was Man City who were top of the league going into yesterday. And I think they were top at also, what? They were 3 points ahead last week. And all of that was clawed back by Chelsea. So, yeah. I think, what was it? 5-0 for Arsenal against Man City? I can't remember. But yeah, congratulations. And hopefully we see something similar in the men's, but very unlikely. Gordon to who from -4 or just play Fernandes? I'd just play Fernandes, I think, but if you were to take the hit, Havertz or Elise spring to mind. Start Isak or Manice? I'd start Isak. Hi mate, would you go for it and do a -8, Gordon to Havertz and Bruno to Elise? I think I would. The one transfer I'd consider not doing is Bruno to Elise. I'd keep Bruno if possible, but Gordon to Havertz or Elise for a -4, I'd definitely do it. So let's get this stream to over 100 likes. It'd be massively appreciated. And we are streaming until the deadline, which is in less than 2 hours time. So be sure to rack up the likes. Sell Son, Isak for Salah and Mateta for a -4. And Captain Salah. Yeah, I like the Salah move and Mateta, but it's just selling Son for a -4 hit when he faces the worst team in the league. And even Isak, who in the last couple of months has been very impressive overall. I'd probably do it, but it's very close. Thinking Aït-Nouri to Trent or Senesi to Robertson, both to start, hoping for leaks. I'd rather do Aït-Nouri to Trent. Start one of Burn, Dalot or Branthwaite. Probably Burn. If City only just draw and Arsenal win their game, it will be historic. It would be, but yeah, it needs a miracle. Solanke an option up against one of his former clubs. Yeah, Solanke's been very consistent this season. I'm not against that. Yeah, I think Solanke's decent, to be fair. Now, if I'm ranking forwards, I don't think he makes it into the top 3 for Gameweek 38, but he's decent. I think if he does return, it will be kind of like 6-7 points. That's kind of my prediction, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. Hello, Dylan. Which defender, Ben White or Borro? Ben White, definitely. I'm 17 points ahead in my mini league. I have the exact same team except Saka instead of Fernandes. Would it be worth to transfer Nana to Raya? Yeah, I think that's a good transfer. It seems very boring, but much better chance of a clean sheet on paper, and the rest of your team looks pretty solid, so I think so. You could also consider Gordon to Elise or Havertz and then starting one of them over Isak or Jackson. But yeah, the safer transfer, so to speak, would be Anana to Raya. Yeah, I'd probably bench Jackson, but that's very close. I might even change my mind. How confident are you that Saka starts and plays 80+? I'm quite confident, to be fair. Yeah, FPL Challenge Team, I'll try to show later. I haven't done it yet, if I'm being honest. I've only included 3-4 players, so I have to give that a good think. What about Idingra? It's a super differential for this game week. Yeah, of course, targeting Man United as a fixture isn't bad. I'm just not so sure about Idingra because he has missed a lot of football in the last couple of weeks, or last couple of months, should I say. As a United fan, I hope Arsenal are champions today. Yeah, look, with United fans, obviously, there are some who really hate Arsenal because of that rivalry that happened 2 decades ago. Probably the best in the Premier League era. But now with City winning 3 in a row, soon to be 4, yeah, I think United fans would rather go for Arsenal there. But let's wait and see. I wouldn't count on it. I really wouldn't, because West Ham at home, very easy for Man City in my opinion. Final day already felt like yesterday. It was Game Week 1. Yeah, it didn't feel like that long ago for me personally, and the season's gone by so quickly. Probably the quickest it's gone in a long while. Maybe if you're a fan of a struggling club, it will seem much longer. But yeah, it's definitely gone quickly. Havertz or Elise? I think I'm more likely to buy Elise right now, which I discussed in my team selection. So that's probably what I lean towards. It's very close though. No leaks at the moment. If there were to be one, it's probably going to be around 2 PM UK time onwards. Maybe even with 5 minutes to go until the deadline, which will almost certainly cause a website crash. Play 2, Fernandes, Elise, Isak. Elise would definitely start for me, and I'd probably go for Isak. Son to Salah and Isak to Mateta. Yeah, looks good to me. As I mentioned earlier, a bit apprehensive about selling Son and Isak, but I like Salah and Mateta a lot this week. Edison to Raya, Dunk to Gavardio for a -4. I think I would do it, yeah. Start 2 of Isak, Jackson and Son. I'd start Son and Isak. A lot of Jackson versus Isak questions today. I might have to put a pinned comment just so we don't go into that too much. Elise or Eze, both great options, but Elise for me. Keep KDB or sell to Havertz, Trossard, Elise. I'd keep KDB. Would you recommend a -4 in this game week? Depends who you buy and sell, of course, but I think a -4 hit can pay off. I took one last season and got a green arrow, so yeah. Hello Dylan, who to bench from Bruno, Isak, Jackson? I would bench Bruno Fernandes, I think. Yeah. Hey Dylan, -4, transfer out Edison, Dallo and Bruno, transfer in Ortega, White and Havertz. No complaints from me. You could consider Elise over Havertz, but yeah, all good transfers for sure. But the chat is kind of freezing at the moment. Bear with me for a second. I'm 26 points ahead in my mini league. Is it worth taking a hit to get Gavardio? Well, yeah. I mean, you take the hit, you're 22 points ahead, unless your mini league rival took a hit himself. In that case, the lead is preserved. Yeah, of course, it depends who you sell for Gavardio, but I think that's fine. Bruno out for Havertz, Elise free, or Bruno and Gordon out for both a -4. Doing the -4 would mean benching Isak for the 5th midfielder. I'd do the free transfers. Why start Bruno over Gordon? Well, number 1, Gordon is actually a major doubt to play this game. Number 2, he's away from home, and I know in the last 2 away games he has returned. I've always backed this fixture against Brentford to be one where Gordon blanks in. And Bruno Fernandes, the third reason is that he's in great form overall and he's returning in virtually every single game. And the 4th reason is that Fernandes has a good record against Brighton. But I'm probably going to sell Bruno Fernandes anyway, and Gordon will be on the bench regardless. It really depends though. If I buy Elise, I think it'll be Gordon making way. That doesn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Ultimately, I don't think either of them will be in my final starting 11. City will be trolled as the new blue £1 billion bottle jobs if they lose or draw against West Ham. Yeah, I mean, it's about time they bottle something, right? But yeah, I wouldn't count on it, mate. I really wouldn't. I'm happy to be proven wrong and look like an idiot, but it's just that I don't want to, get false hope. When can we expect the leaks? Yeah, as I mentioned, probably around 2 PM. I'd say probably 2:20 PM if we're being very specific. So yeah, in 1 hour, 40 minutes time, 1 hour 50. Gordon to Havertz or Højlund to Mateta? Gordon to Havertz. I would actually consider doing both, to be fair. McAllister or Elliott, great options in my opinion. Yeah, Elliott has been in good form. I think McAllister has tailed off in recent weeks. And he's also playing very deep. But yeah, I think as a final day punt, I could think of worse. Harvey Elliott is definitely interesting. Brighton's defensive injuries and De Zerbi leaving. How do you think Brighton versus Man United plays out? Worth keeping Fernandes? That's a great point. It really is. With the De Zerbi factor, I think that will result in... I don't think that's a negative for this game for Brighton. I think if anything, it kind of galvanizes them to give them a good send-off. But with the injuries, of course, that's always an issue. And United have plenty themselves. I think it'll be a high-scoring game. And you could make a case for keeping Bruno. And honestly, that's one move I could see this week backfiring for me, where I sell Fernandes to either Elise or Havertz and actually lose points from that transfer. Top 3 essentials and differentials. Essentials would be Haaland, Palmer, and probably Foden. And top 3 differentials, I'd say Salah as a captain, Elise, and Kai Havertz. Raya, Trent, Elise, and Gakpo. Sorry, I just lost the chat. Or Petrovic, Gabriel, Son, and Mateta. I would go... Wow, that's a very tricky question. I'd go for the first quartet. So Raya, Trent, Elise, and Gakpo. Start Ortega or Petrovic. Ortega. FPL.Team has lost the plot. It's only recommending Dubravka to Verbruggen. Yeah, well, sometimes they do take a while to update, but it's a great resource. It's a great website. And let's actually check what they've recommended for me as well. I'll get back to the chat very soon. Keep on smashing the like button and getting this to over 100 likes. I'm going to show some different screens for the final time this season, I think. You never know. There could be a reaction stream or something, but I think so. So let's go to the fixture ticker, which looks so odd here. Man City and Arsenal are in the top 2 for their fixtures against West Ham and Everton at home, respectively. Luton Town, Burnley and Palace are also in the top 5. And if we look at the bottom 5, Everton, West Ham, Wolves, Man United and Fulham. For predicted points, Haaland is top, as he pretty much always is. Salah is second, with Foden, Havertz, Palmer in the top 5. Eze, Son, Isak, Tony and Jackson complete the top 10. And you know what? There is a great source here. Let's actually use Fantasy Football Hub for this as well very quickly. But before we do, let's check predicted price rises. So Foden, Jackson, Romero, Van der Ven, Johnson, Elise could all be going up in price tonight. As for price falls, Gordon, De Bruyne, Stones, Sinchenko, Chukwuemeka, Semenyo, Al-Dakli, Kabore, Garnacho, Maguire, Moreno, Bruno Fernandes, Areola, Zabani and Neto. But ultimately, none of these price changes are that relevant now, because after today, that is it. No more Premier League action for the season, and ultimately it means absolutely nothing about price changes. But let's have a quick look at what Fantasy Football Hub are recommending for my team. Let's just see if this is all... I think this is up to date, yeah. So let's optimize the team here. They've put Fernandes in the starting 11 over Gordon, pretty much how I've ordered things myself. Haaland captain with Foden as the vice. Let's see what they're recommending as a transfer. So that will be very interesting as well. Yeah, apologies by the way if there is a bit of lag. I'm not sure why there is, but there you go. Sky can be a bit of a pain in the ass, as we say. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't detract from the viewing experience. They're recommending Bruno Fernandes to Havertz, and they're not the only algorithm to recommend this transfer, because Drafthound also say the same thing. Fernandes to Havertz is their top recommendation. Number 2 is Gordon to Elise, and number 3 is Isak to Gakpo, who for me is actually a good differential. Great suggestions here by Drafthound. There is a link in the description below. I'd highly recommend you check it out. But yeah, that's a bit weird. Right. All right, let's see. So now let's go through some polls that I put out on my channel. So select your final captain for the season. Haaland is top, unfortunately, with 62%. Palmer second with 25%. Son is third with 9%. And then Saka is last with 4%. But I did ask for your recommendations in terms of puns in the comments section. So you can do that by subscribing to the channel and checking the community tab. And the other poll I put out was choose your favorite midfielder for Gameweek 38. Havertz is top with 44%, Elise second with 37%, very close between the two. Odegaard in third with 11%, and I think he has scored in the last 2 home games against Everton. And Bruno Fernandes is last with 8% of the vote. Let's now look at, you know what, I'm going to change this. So a stats comparison here of 2 great captaincy options, Salah and Palmer, and it's actually very close in a lot of these metrics. And you have to say, Salah probably leads them because of these kind of, for example, XG per minute or per 90, also big chances per 90, but still very close considering the fact that Palmer started this season at 5 million. But one stat comparison I want to do actually is between Havertz and Elise, who are very popular options this week for transfers. So let's bring them both here. Let's also put Elise. So Havertz will lead most of these stats because Elise hasn't played that much football. I think just over 1,000 minutes, but 10 goals for Elise, 12 for Havertz, 10 FPL assists for the German, and 5 for the Frenchman. 60 shots for Kai, 51 for Elise, and I have to say, Elise averages so many shots per appearance, which is very encouraging. And yeah, a lot of these stats will favour Havertz, but he has played a lot more football than Elise, which definitely swings things in his favour. They're both great transfers for the final game week of the season. I'm currently favouring Elise, but that could actually change, and I might buy Kai Havertz for the first time this season. I could even buy Martin Odegaard as well as a cheeky differential, but I think one of these two will likely be my final transfer of the entire season. And if we now look at FPL.Team and see what they're recommending as well, well, Elise in for Bruno Fernandes will result in 66.6 expected points for Game Week 38. And if I were to buy Havertz instead, I believe it goes up to 66.9. So let's see what they're recommending for the final transfer. So I believe we should captain Haaland this week and vice captain Son. Okay, so basically they're saying no changes needed for the starting 11. But if I were to undo that transfer, let's reset the game week and see what they're saying. They recommend selling Dalot for Zinchenko. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think there is definitely something wrong with the algorithm for that transfer to be suggested. But let's quickly change this again. Let's put Gabriel in. Let's put Petrovic for Onana. Captain Haaland, vice Palmer. And then, yeah, I'd probably say Fernandes out to Kai Havertz. And what about Odegaard, actually? That'll be quite interesting. That would be 65.1, but I can't even afford that. I'm 0.1 million off. So, yeah, Havertz or Elise for me is likely to be my final transfer. And a lot of these algorithms do recommend going for Kai Havertz. Oh, that's it. So, Bodro in for Burn. Actually, if we look at this, so Fernandes does have high expected points, doesn't he? No, it's actually the exact same. Interesting. Yeah, that's definitely a transfer that could come back to bite me there. If I were to make another move outside the midfield, it would be, I think, Isak or Jackson to Mateta. I think that's something else I'd consider. But yeah, I mean, let's wait and see. Some people are even burning their transfer or not using it in Game Week 38, which is quite weird to say. Let's now go back to my FPL team, and very soon I'll go for my FPL Challenge one, but as I mentioned, I haven't built one yet, so just bear that in mind. And there we go. That is pretty much it. Yeah, we've covered all of that. Let's go back to your questions, and let's also, let's see. Oh, I'm just getting another error message, but I think it's all good right now. Let me just double check things. I do apologize if there is an inconvenience there, but yeah, hasn't happened too often this year. I'll try not to jinx it because I'm a bit of a superstitious man. I really am. All right. Okay, that's a bit jarring. I'm not sure if YouTube is bugging out now, but be sure to let me know in the live chat if everything is good. Yeah, that isn't really what I want to see. So, back to your questions. Let's whiz through these since there's a lot of questions coming in today. Jackson or Johnson? Jackson. Kwanzaa an option, scored last week. I personally think Liverpool could concede in this game. I think they'll win it quite comprehensively, but yeah, the only defender I'd really consider is Trent, or even a Robertson if he started, but yeah, not Kwanzaa for me. Yeah, Jazabi, I'd go for Jackson there. So no Darwin, Salah starts according to Anfield Insight. Thank you, Nuclear Atoms, for the update. Stuttgart finishing second while Bayern finishes third is crazy. Yeah, but ultimately second, third doesn't really matter. Only for the German Super Cup, which Bayern obviously can't be a part of next season. Looks like Spurs ain't getting a UCL spot next because the top 5 in Bundesliga are getting UCL spots. No, that was confirmed. After they lost to City, Champions League was over for them. Are you on the Sky Superfast, Ultrafast, or Gigafast broadband? I think I'm on Superfast, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know why. It typically is the case where in the summer when there's a bit of heat, I don't know, the internet just goes crazy. I don't know if there's anything in it, but it's a correlation I found myself. Start 2, Jackson, Isak, Elise, Havertz. I would go for Elise and Havertz. I'm thinking of doing Gordon to Johnson, already have Havertz. I'd rather go for Elise, Eze, or Odegaard over Johnson, but it's completely up to you. Yeah, Leverkusen 2 matches away from an unbeaten treble. It's very impressive, one of the best achievements in football history. I think they'll do it. You know, they're definitely winning the German Cup final. The only possible doubt is Atalanta, who are in great form, but I think Leverkusen do it. Update on KDB, Saka, and Ortega. Saka should be fine. That's what Arteta said after the United game. Ortega will start. And as for KDB, I think he has been in training, and I personally think he will start as well. Go to Liverpool asset because of final game for Klopp. Yeah, look, if I had the money, I'd do Fernandes to Salah in a heartbeat, but Apart from that, only Gakpo up front really interests me. And I can't really buy Trent regardless, unless I take a -4 hit. So, yeah. Then again, it's Liverpool. Bayern fell off. Yeah, but look, every club has their off years, even Madrid. And an off year for them is probably finishing second or third and winning nothing, or they win a Super Cup or something. Start 2, Jackson, Isak, Elise, Havertz. Yeah, I covered that. I don't see Man City slowing down anytime soon. Yeah, well, that's boring for the league, if I'm being honest. Hopefully they do slow down, or at least someone dethrones them. And Arsenal are in the best position to do that in the years to come. And I think Arsenal will eventually win it, but I want to do it today. Would you do Bruno to Havertz or Odegaard if you can't afford Odegaard with one free transfer? Very close. I think I'd still go for Havertz, but Odegaard has a great record against Everton at home. I'm 10 points behind in my mini league. I have 2 transfers and I want to bring in 2 differentials. I got the same team as you except Gordon for Bruno, Disasi for Gvardiol, 1 million in the bank. What should I do? Well, differentials would include Odegaard, Elise, Eze, Trossard and Havertz in the midfield. So buying one of them for either Gordon or Bruno could be the play. Disasi, I'm not too sure about him, but then again, I'm starting Petrovic and it's quite similar, unless Disasi is benched or something. But yeah, I'd focus on a midfielder transfer in your case. Start Bruno or Isak? I think I'd start Isak. I can't buy Havertz, got Elise though. Who's the better shout instead of Højlund, Mateta or Gakpo? I'd go for Mateta. Thoughts on Trossard? No, I do like him, to be fair. I do like him. That is very odd. Yeah, so let me know how the stream is going right now. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a YouTube issue right now, because on OBS, for example, everything's in the green. But yeah, on YouTube, something's going wrong. I don't know if it's a YouTube issue now or if it's, you know, the connection. I have no idea. So yeah, try to keep me updated, because I can't watch it myself. But yeah, thoughts on Trossard, great differential, scored against Everton earlier this season, and I really would back him to do well as well. I do prefer Havertz and Odegaard, if I'm being honest, for Gameweek 38, but Trossard would be up there, I think, as a midfielder punt for the last Gameweek of the season. Yeah. I think if Arsenal's at Goodison Park today, they wouldn't score a goal. They'll probably win 1 or 2-0 today. I'm not sure, because I think the situation that Arsenal are in, I think everyone expects City to win the league, right? So there's a bit of pressure off. Of course, they still have to win their game, and you never know with Arsenal. But yeah, they did win 1-0 out of Goodison Park earlier this season. They dominated that game, controlled it. I don't think Everton had any chances. But it's a different scenario now where both teams are in form. Arsenal have won 5 in a row. Everton have 4 wins and a draw out of the last 5. But away from home, Everton haven't won in 9 or 10 Premier League games. So yeah, obviously Goodison Park is a fortress at the moment, but I'd still expect Arsenal to win home and away, and especially at the Emirates, they have to get the job done. Who should I replace Gordon with? I have 1 free transfer. I'd say Elise, but Eze is still worth it. I know a lot of people are focusing on Elise, so if you want to go a bit different there, I'm not really against that. Saka for Bruno, you should do. I can't afford it. Otherwise, I'd definitely consider it. It's probably Havertz or Elise in for Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, Pema, just depends who you sell, but I do like both of them. Disasi for Van Dijk or other Chelsea defender? I'd rather go for Van Dijk if I had to pick one. No watch-along stream, to be honest. I might be out, to be fair, watching the games. There might be a reaction stream later today, but that's only if I'm available at home. And also, yeah, it's just a few factors. If it's possible, I'll do a reaction stream. Otherwise, I might do it later this week, maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. Just really depends on my schedule. Bruno to Havertz, play Isak, or Gordon to Elise, play Bruno. I would do Bruno to Havertz and play Isak, but it's very close. We're talking about 50-50 calls. Dylan, what do you think is the near future of Man United? I'm extremely disappointed. Well, there's obviously a lot of pain for United fans right now, but I do think they will eventually get back to a competitive level. When that will be, I'm not so sure, but it could still be 3 or 4 years from now. It really could. My prediction is that United won't win a Premier League title for another 5 years at least, but I could be wrong. I really could. They might even win it sooner than Liverpool or Arsenal. You just never know. But yeah, I think with United there will be some pain, but I think they'll get things right eventually. Probably in 2 or 3 years' time, they'll start finishing in the top 4, maybe winning a cup and looking like a competitive team again. Will De Bruyne start? I think so, but that's just my opinion. Currently 51k, chasing top 50k. Should I do Gordon to Havertz or Jackson, Isak to Mateta and Gordon to Salah for a -4 hit? Close one. I'd take the -4 hit. Just about. Havertz or Saka, I just saw, but yeah, the chat is kind of freezing. I'd go for Saka, I think, if I had to pick one. Gordon to Eze and bench Isak. Would love to bring in Raya, but would have to take a hit to remove Anana. Yeah, I think so. I'd buy Eze or Elise and bench Isak. It's not ideal. It could backfire, but yeah. Morris to Isak and Burn to White -4. Yeah. No problems with that, to be fair. Morris could be decent last game week. I think that could be a very high-scoring game between Fulham and Luton Town. But I think I'd probably take the -4 hit. I'm thinking of captaining Son instead of Haaland. Honestly, look, Son's in very poor form, but he's got a great fixture. I think he'll personally do well and bounce back from some big misses last week. But I would prefer Palmer, Foden, Salah, and Saka as a captain over Son, I think. Are team leaks an hour away? I can't tell you exactly because I've got nothing to do with leaks, but they typically are 5-10 minutes away from the deadline. And in that sort of scenario, I'd recommend having the app ready and having a backup just in case you can't get your transfers through. Triple captain who? I'd say Salah if you can, otherwise Erling Haaland. Who to captain from Palmer and Foden? Palmer for me. Dylan, should Arsenal bring in a number 9 or run it back with Havertz striker? I'd want to have both options. I think Havertz done very well in this position. He's averaging a goal or assist every 60 minutes, but I think Arsenal need a striker, a left centre mid, and I'd say another defender, possibly even a winger as well. If you want to take those next steps and secure the Premier League title and make sure that it's not going to slip, then yeah, I think Arsenal need to go and make some big signings. Best differential free hit. Check out my free hit team video and podcast. I did it a few days ago, so everything's covered there. Is Gordon to Havertz worth it for a -4? I think so. I'm chasing rank. Salah or Palmer for captain. I'd go for Salah. Best replacements of Gordon or stick with him? I'd replace him with Elise, Havertz or Eze. It's up to you and your budget, but I'd say Elise or Havertz for me. Bruno to Havertz. Yeah. Not much in it, but I think Havertz is slightly better on paper. I've played on 2 accounts since Gameweek 21, one without transfers and another one with transfers. The difference was only 35 points till today. Yeah, sometimes not making transfers actually pays off and you gain more from that, but yeah. Chelsea are going to be playing in Europe next season. Who would have thought? Yeah, but it's still, let's not sugarcoat it. Chelsea have spent over £1 billion in a space of a year, so where they're at isn't impressive or anything. They've done well in recent weeks, but yeah, it's not something to really write home about, let's put it that way. Will Haaland still be essential next season? Pricing will be a big factor, but probably, yeah. I think FPL will just kind of appease the casuals and the prices will be quite lenient for most of it. And if that's the case, yeah, I think a lot of people will just go for Haaland anyway. Chasing 10 points, bought Elise, which the leader doesn't have. Now, captain Palmer or Son? I'd personally favour Palmer, but back your gut on that one. I think Elise is a great punt and hopefully your mini league leader doesn't have it. And if that's the case, you've got a good chance of finishing top. Sell Gusto or sell Burn? I'd rather sell Burn. Saka or Havertz? I'd say Saka, but not much in it. Start free of White, Gabriel, Porro, Gvardio. Thanks. White definitely starts for me. I'd go for White, Gvardio, and Gabriel. KDB, Ortega, Saka all start? Yeah. The only slight doubt for me is KDB, but I think he starts. Saka and Isak to Salah Mateta for a -4. Worth it? Just about. Got Salah, Mateta, and Havertz, and think Haaland differential. Captain is a differential enough. What do you think? Yeah, Haaland captain isn't a differential. The only way it would be is if you have the triple captaincy. That's it. It definitely won't be a differential captain. But good transfers, good plan, and it looks solid. I'm up by 24 points in the mini league. Mateta plus Salah captain plus Havertz plus Saliba plus Senesi plus pick forward versus Haaland captain plus Bruno. Is it safe to hold? Yeah, I'm not sure about all this Havertz, Saliba, Senesi, and then pick a forward. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about. But if I were to pick a forward this week, probably Mateta. Yeah, keeping Bruno is fine. but I would rather go for the likes of Havertz and Saliba and Salah captain if possible. Do I start Burn instead of a transfer to Van Dijk so I can sell Isak or Jackson to a different striker? If so, who is the best option? I'd rather sell Burn. I think he's a weak link in Gameweek 38, and I know I'd rather make midfielder or forward transfers, but yeah, I think in this sort of scenario, I'd rather focus on addressing your weak link, which in my opinion is Dan Burn. Would you play both Borro and Van de Ven? Depends on your alternatives. I do prefer Arsenal defenders and Gvardiol. But yeah, apart from that, you could make a case for Spurs having the third or fourth best chance of a clean sheet in Gameweek 38. Is Son a lesser pick over Elise, Foden, Salah, Palmer and Saka? Based on recent form, he definitely is. But look, Son has a great fixture. I think he will return against Sheffield United. It's just a matter of how many, in my opinion. But yeah, look at those 5 midfielders you mentioned, and I think all of them are better in Gameweek 38. I think pretty much, yeah. Is Palmer a good captain to gain rank? Yes, but he's not a massive differential. His effective ownership will be around 100%. If you captain him, that will gain you quite a lot of rank. But yeah, for example, in my case, if I captain Haaland, any returns that Palmer gets will actually go against me. That's going to be the likely scenario. The day Pep leaves City is the day City become a banter club. Well, yeah, I just I'd want something different, you know, and a competitive league, obviously kind of a level playing field, but we're not going to get it just yet. 2 Arsenal defence and Haaland in every team next season. Once again, depends on pricing. I think 1 Arsenal defender might be enough. Maybe they will be priced at 6 million plus. Saliba, Gabriel, White. I could see White being 6.5 and Gabriel being at least 5.5, at least. But let's just see what FPL come up with during the summer. I'm in the final of a big cup. Other guy has Odegaard and Saka. I have neither. Thinking of getting Havertz, or should I pick Odegaard to cover? Yeah, I'm also in a similar situation. I can't afford Saka. Odegaard has a great record against Everton, particularly at home. As for Havertz, he's been the most consistent Arsenal player in terms of goals and assists in this calendar year. I'd probably favour Havertz, but honestly, Odegaard's not a bad shout to cover your cup final opponent. I'd probably favour Kai Havertz though, just about. Foden can be the next Messi. Come on, man. You don't really believe that, do you? Nah, there's no chance. Foden will never even be half of Messi's level, in my opinion, let alone that level. Sorry, Dylan, the Edison to Ortega, Fernandes to Salah, and Isak to Mateta is a -4 still worth it. I could do Son to Elliott and Fernandes to Salah for free. Yeah, I've seen a few shots for Elliott, which isn't bad at all. I do like Fernandes to Salah. Yeah, if it is possible, I would go for an Elise or Eze over Elliott, but not sure if you can do that. Bench 1 of Gabriel, White, Gvardiol and Borro. Probably Borro. Gordon to Salah, Bruno to Elliott, Isak to Mateta. Thoughts? All solid, but once again, if you can buy Elise or Eze instead of Elliott, I'd recommend that. Bruno, Gordon and Isak, Jackson to Havertz, Elise and Mateta for a hit. Simply put, yes. Arsenal Premier League champions 2023-24. Remember my words, guys. It's very unlikely, but if you are right, I'll make a note of your name, that's for sure. Grande Dylan, ya solo nos queda esta jornada y final de la Champions. 2 cosas serían titulares, KDB y Gordon. Yo creo que De Bruyne va a empezar el partido. Con Gordon no creo que va a ser el escenario. Y harás Euro Fantasy Football. Es muy probable que voy a hacer Euro Fantasy Football como hice en 2021. Pero no puedo asegurarlo, así que por ahora no voy a confirmar nada y cuando sé que lo puedo hacer, lo voy a confirmar en este canal. Espero que sí, mate. Thanks for this season. Thank you very much, Ignacio, as always. Sorry, mate, meant to say, think of having Salah, Mateta and Havertz as differential enough just to leave captaincy on Haaland chasing rank, though, but thinking Haaland will go nuclear. Yeah, that's fair enough. I misunderstood. Yeah, great transfers, and I see what you're saying. I think that's absolutely spot on. I don't see anything wrong with your transfer plans. I just have to hope that variance is on your side. And yeah, that it goes your way. Havertz or Mateta as a differential captain. Probably Havertz there. Gordon and De Bruyne start. Yeah, as I just said in Spanish, I think De Bruyne starts, but Gordon doesn't. If Saka and Foden aren't at least 10.5 million next season, it may be the most boring one to date. They have to be. They really have to. And Palmer, at least 9.5 million for me. I know you could say it's just one season. Although it's very unlikely, there is a small chance it's a one-season wonder. I don't think that'll be the case whatsoever. You can't price Palmer at 8 million or below. That would just be criminal. Looks like VAR ain't getting scrapped next season. For me, VAR isn't the problem. It's the people operating it and the way they apply it, when they choose to use it, when they don't choose to use it. For example, the other day on Tuesday, I think there was actually a call to be made about the offside in the build-up to City's goal, and they didn't even check it. Come on, at least a check, due diligence and all of that. You can't just, decide to use VAR in every single offside scenario and then not for certain ones, It just doesn't make any sense. Is Elise a good captaincy option if I'm chasing 10 points? Yeah. I'm not saying you have to captain Elise or that he's the best option, but he's definitely one of the top differentials for the week, and I think he's got a very high ceiling, as he's demonstrated all season. Ben White and Ortega, or Gvardio and Petrovic? Probably White and Ortega. Bruno Havertz, probably Havertz. Is it possible to make up 85 points with a free hit? I'm 362k and 100k so far away. It's almost impossible in my opinion, of course. Never say never, but yeah, the chances are very slim in my opinion. Gross and Isak for Gakpo, Havertz or Eze? I'd go for Havertz. Oh, right. So yeah, Gakpo's your full choice, and then Havertz or Eze. Yeah, I'd go for Havertz over Eze, I think. And Gakpo's a decent shout too. But do I prefer him over Isak? Not necessarily. Shame that Simon Hooper wasn't the ref in the Spurs City game. Yeah, I thought about that as well. He seems to like Spurs a little bit. Instead, I think he refereed Liverpool versus Aston Villa the day before. Hey, would you play Gordon or Højlund? Probably Højlund. I don't think Gordon starts, to be honest, and I could be wrong. Salah says, hey, wanted to drop in to say thank you for all the content this season. Hopefully it ends with a bang. Thank you very much, Salah. Likewise to you. Good luck in Gameweek 38. FPL MK says who to bench between Son, Jackson and Mateta. The other attackers are Salah, Saka, Palmer and Foden. I'd probably bench Jackson there. Garnacho or Jackson? Jackson. Mosian says De Bruyne to Salah, Elise and doing Gordon to Havertz. Any suggestions? I'd go to Salah. As much as I like Elise, I think Salah, last game for Klopp. Yeah, and also a home game. I'd really fancy Salah in Gameweek 38. So Salah and Havertz look completely spot on to me. You could even buy Elise instead of Havertz for your Gordon replacement as well. Best differential striker, I'd say Mateta. Want to captain Palmer, but West Ham defence is so crap to go against Haaland. Yeah, unfortunately captaining, City players hasn't really jinxed them. Nothing really seems to work. But yeah, I think West Ham could get decimated here. So yeah, I see what you're saying. Saka or Havertz, I'd say Saka. Palmer 8.5 million, Saka 10 and Foden 10.5. Yeah, they're good transfers, they're good prices. I have to say though, I think Saka, yeah, if I'm looking at it, I just don't see him being less than Foden. I really don't. I think he's got more FPL assists this season, the same number of goals if I'm not mistaken. And he's a penalty taker, which always, plays a part for him. So yeah, I could see Saka and Foden both being the same, whether it's 10 or 10.5 million. Bruno to Saka for free, or Bruno and Son to Salah and Elise for a -4. 9 points behind in the mini-league with similar teams. Wow. I'd actually take the -4 here. I think Salah and Elise will make the difference for you. It does put you 13 points behind, but you could easily claw that up with just one of those players, let alone both. De Bruyne or Mateta? De Bruyne. If Sancho ended up in City instead of United, City would just be a joke. Well, Sancho, of course, was very impressive for Borussia Dortmund before he joined Man United. But to be honest, I think one worse transfer would have been Rice to Man City. If that was the case, there would have been no title race this season. It really wouldn't have, because Arsenal would have started Jorginho in most games. Partey's always injury prone. So, yeah, I'm just happy Rice went to Arsenal instead of Man City. I don't think so. Foden's a quality player, but if I'm being honest, I don't think player of the season was really justified. And hear me out, I'm saying this because I think in terms of Man City players, Rodri is the best player, the most influential, the most important. Then you've got Watkins, who spearheaded Aston Villa into the top 4 with 19 goals, 13 assists. You've also got Cole Palmer, who had a great season. There are so many players. Declan Rice, who has been consistent 7, 8 out of 10 every single week. I think those players are ahead of Foden for this season's performances, but I'm sure many people will disagree. We all have our own opinions. Second, Spurs midfielder punt instead of Elise. Not for me. You could go for Johnson or Maddison, but I just think Elise has a far higher ceiling. Play Bruno or Isak? Probably Isak. Kaftan says start Walker or Gusto? Walker. Abir says, is it worth taking a -8 for Gordon to Havertz, Bruno to Salah, and Jackson to Manise, and Jackson to Mateta to start Mateta? Right, so and Jackson to Manise and Jackson to Mateta. I think Jackson to Mateta would be the one. And Gordon to Havertz and Bruno to Salah look good to me, even for a -8. Havertz or Elise? I'm currently favouring Elise, but that isn't set in stone. Palmer captain if chasing over Haaland? Yeah, I'm not completely against that, to be fair. I might even do it myself. I think in terms of the way I ranked the captaincy this week, it's Salah first, Haaland second, Palmer third. I don't think there's much in it. Partey is underrated in my opinion. He was great at Atletico Madrid, he really was. And last season, he was instrumental to Arsenal, you know, having an incredible start to the campaign and leading for so long. Then he started to fade a bit physically. He had injuries throughout the season, as always. And yeah, unfortunately this year, he just hasn't been able to stay fit enough. Have we took for granted Cristiano the most complete striker and Messi the most complete player of all time? Mbappe is currently the only one even close to their level. Yeah, there's a huge drop-off. And I always had that feeling, after Messi and Ronaldo kind of dip or they retire, there's not really anyone that stands out. And before in football, you had Thierry Henry, Ronaldinho, Zidane, the Brazilian Ronaldo. You had so many top players, and I do think the pool of elite ones is smaller now. And you could even argue the best player in the world right now is like a Rodri, which sounds crazy to me. But yeah, football has taken a different turn. It's a bit more robotic. There's less freedom. And yeah, it's a lot more down to tactics and systems rather than individual quality and creativity. Havertz or Saka? Saka, I have covered this. Sell Rashford or Bruno? I'd sell Rashford. Elise or Eze? Elise. Trenick says Jackson over Maddison or Gusto. I'd rather bench Gusto from those lot. Sorry, I meant Isak to Manise, Jackson to Mateta, Bruno to Salah, Gordon to Havertz -8. Yes, but I would consider keeping Isak if possible, but I'm guessing you're doing that to fund the Salah move, which is fair enough. But you could even keep Bruno, buy Havertz and Mateta, and also keep Isak and take a -4 hit. I think it would be it'll be for free. Start Jackson or Isak? Probably Isak for me. Hello Dylan, Saka to Son for a -4? No, not for me. Should I start De Bruyne? I would, if I were you. Keep or sell KDB for Salah and Mateta? I'd probably sell if it's for free. Raya or Petrovic to start, and Eze or Manise to start? Raya and Eze for me. I'm around 40-50 points off top. Should I, once again the chat, should I just have fun and do a -8 for Salah and captain him and see what happens? I support Liverpool and have no players from the club. Yeah, look, FPL is about having fun, right? And if that's your way of having fun, so be it. And I get what you're saying, because having players from your own team, you know, it's like double emotional investment. And if it goes well, you're even more happy. If it goes wrong, you might be even more upset. But I see what you're saying. I honestly think Salah's a great option for the captaincy and as a transfer. So yeah, I'm on board. I really am. I'm not going to lie, I do. I think Vinicius is a good player, but he's not the best player in the world for me. I really don't think so. He's done well in the Champions League over the last couple of years, but only 4 goals for Brazil, and I just don't really see it. And people say, for example, Vinicius will win the Ballon d'Or now, but he's nowhere near Neymar's level, and Neymar was always the 3rd or 4th best player of his generation, so it goes to show the level has dropped. At least for me, I just think there's a massive drop-off. What do you think of KDB captain? Look, with KDB, it's been very difficult to predict his returns. So against Palace away, I don't think many people expect him to score an assist and get a massive return. And then when you start him against Luton Town at home, he has a great performance, 8 chances created, and he walks away with nothing, no points whatsoever. So it's always difficult with De Bruyne, but he's got that high ceiling. One thing that pisses me off is 4-year-olds calling Messi Pessi or Ronaldo Penaldo. Oh, that's the thing. It's not even just 4-year-olds. It's, you know, it could be 20, 30, 40-year-olds with a 4-year-old mentality. But I won't lie, I've said stuff like that before as a joke. Captaining Palmer, a bad shout or no? No, it's not a bad shout. And Captain, I haven't skipped your question. I answered it. I said to start Walker. Up to you. Dergish says select 1, Gordon to Elise. 2, if KDB doesn't start, then KDB and Isak to Mateta and Salah at -4. I'd go for number 1. I have the exact same starting 11 as you with Gordon, Van de Ven and Burn on the bench. Would you make any changes? Maybe Fernandes to Elise or Havertz. If you can afford Saka, he's always a great option too. I'm a Liverpool fan. Ain't no way going without Salah for Klopp's last game. That also at Anfield. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Salah first is my top captain. Haaland second, Palmer third. Gakpo or Elise? Elise. LL Darrick says 1 free transfer Akanji to Gvardiol or Eze to Elise. They both seem a bit sideways. Although Elise and Gvardiol are arguably upgrades, it's difficult to predict which one will yield the most results, if I'm being honest. I think Eze to Elise is probably the one, but it really could go either way. Thinking we need Gordon news before I commit. I get what you're saying, but even if he starts, I'm happy to sell him, personally. Who's the best player in the world in your opinion, Dylan? I say Katai from Red Star, you probably don't know him. Yeah, I don't know, I think. I don't know, it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I still think it's Messi. He just plays in a very weak league, but yeah, for me, Messi. And we'll see how he performs in the Copa America, but he's scoring or assisting every single game. We're not going to get to that level of play in a very long time, in my opinion. Either Elliott, Salah, Jackson -4, play, or Mateta, Havertz, Salah -8, choose. I'd go for the -8 option. Edison, Bruno Fernandes, and Isak to Ortega, Salah, and Mateta -4. Yeah, I'd go for it, Aiden. Hello, would you sell Edison to Raya Ortega, second goalkeeper's Areola, or Bruno to Foden? I need to maintain my position in my mini-league and pretty scared that everyone owns Foden. Yeah, you're in a bit of a dilemma here. Edison's been a troll for you. I'd actually do both. I really would. But if I had to pick one, it's probably Edison to either Raya or Ortega. And I think Raya is my slight preference. Who would you start? Out of those three, probably Jackson. Still can't decide between Havertz or Elise. Same here. I'm in that same situation. Bench Bruno or Jackson? I think I'd bench Bruno. Son and White or Trent and Havertz? Probably Son and White, but very, very close. Bench one from Bruno, Mateta, Isak and Elise. Probably Bruno again. Elise and Havertz or Salah and Mateta? Salah and Mateta. Elise or Havertz/Trossard? It's between Elise and Havertz for me. I haven't decided yet. I'm currently leaning towards Elise, but that could definitely change. Trent or Borro? Trent has been getting 1-pointers. Yeah, but it's a home game. Spurs can't be trusted defensively. I'd probably say Borro for the fixture though. Flecken to Raya -4. Not sure I'd take a hit for that. Choose two of Saka, Havertz, Eze or Elise. Saka and Elise. Yeah, Havertz should start. Bench Walker or Romero? I would bench Romero. Watkins got robbed so hard. If he wasn't playing Aston Villa, he would have been a 7 out of 10. Would have been 7 to 10. Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah. It is what it is, you know, big club bias is a big thing, and certain players and clubs do get a bit more favourable PR, which definitely helps. Look, don't get me wrong, Foden's a quality player, but I don't think he's City's best player, or the best player this season, let alone the Premier League Player of the Year, but we all have our different stances on it. Garnacho to Elise and bench Isak? Yes, I think I would. Start Petrovic or Dubravka? Petrovic. Yeah, not Brennan for me. If you want to go there, it's up to you, but I personally would go for Elise. Adil says, would you do Bruno to Havertz, Elise, Odegaard for free, or that and Isak to Gakpo, Mateta for a -4? Just a free transfer. I wouldn't take the hit in that situation. Motta is the next Juventus gaffer, while Xavi might get sacked for saying Barca's financial situation is crap. Plus, Giroud is going to play for Los Angeles FC next season. You know, the team Loris plays for, yeah. I was aware of that. I think the announcement that he's leaving Milan came the other day. I think it was last week. Is it on Monday? Yeah, I think it was on Monday. Yeah, Thiago Motta, he's done a good job at Bologna. And of course, Allegri got sacked after the Supercoppa Italia win. I think, no, it's not the Supercoppa, it was the Coppa Italia. Havertz or Elise Eze? It's between Havertz and Elise for me. That's what I'm deciding on. Dunk, Bruno and Gordon to White, Havertz and Elise -4. Yes from me. Saka or Havertz have been asked to death. Saka. Bruno to Havertz, Burn to Gabriel -4. It's okay. Or just play Branthwaite. I have Gvardiol, Borro, and Hall. I think I take the hit and go for Havertz and Gabriel. It could backfire, but I think it's worth it. Chasing a 15 points. What do you suggest? Salah captain and Mateta -4 or 2 to 4 differentials? Haaland captain. They're both viable, but I'd go for the Salah captain and Mateta for a -4. Have one free transfer, Vicario, Raya, and play Garnacho, Wilson, Mateta, and bench Garnacho for Mateta, or Bruno Havertz and play Garnacho. The one where I bench Garnacho is probably what I'd go for. Another lovely season. It's been a good ride with you throughout the season in UCL and FPL content. Big thanks for your dedication. Thank you very much, Demantis, a long-time viewer of the channel. Good luck in Gameweek 38 as well. After Club will be fun. You never walk alone. Yeah, it might take some time to get back to where you want to be, but let's wait and see. It would be good for the Premier League if we have more competitors for Man City. I'm just thinking of any moves that isn't the goalkeeper one. Final day usually means few clean sheets. I agree. But in certain scenarios, for example, for someone that has to start Areola without making a goalkeeper transfer, I'd recommend buying a goalkeeper. Should I sell Saka for Havertz? I'm using free hit. I wouldn't. Well, on a free hit, it's different. You know, I would be tempted to go for differentials. I see what you're saying, but Saka, it's difficult. I think I'd still want him on the free hit, to be honest. Sarabia and Nunez to Havertz and Manice. I'd go for Mateta instead of Manice if you can, but Manice isn't bad. Eze, Elise, Mateta is the closest thing we've got to Messi, Suarez, Neymar, it turns out. I mean, in the football standards we have nowadays, maybe it is the closest. Trossard or Havertz if I'm chasing? Havertz. Me being a Liverpool supporter, Bruno, Gordon, Isak out to Salah, Elliott and Manice bench. Surely as an Arsenal fan, you'll choose Havertz over Elise. I don't know, it's just... I've got this thing, I'm a bit superstitious, and I don't know, I just don't want to break Havertz. He's been great this year. I don't want to be the one that, like, that's maybe... It doesn't mean anything, of course. Logically speaking, I've got no influence on how he performs. It's just down to a bit of luck on the day. Yeah, look, it's between those two for my final transfer, I believe, but I'm also a bit conflicted about selling Bruno, or even benching him. Robertson starts according to Asim LFC. Thank you, Nuclear Atoms, for the update. 2 free transfers. I want to maintain. What do you suggest? Well, I'd buy one of Havertz or Elise if you can, but if you have the funds, Salah is the one transfer that could really cement your lead and perhaps even increase it. I really do think so. So one of those free midfielders if possible. I just don't know your team, so it's difficult for me to, you know, suggest things because you might have a weak defender in your starting 11 or your goalkeeper isn't looking great. Maybe even the forward. Fleck into Raya for a -4? I wouldn't do it for a -4. Been with you since Ronaldo was in the Premier League retiring from FPL. Yeah, that was a couple of years ago, right? Yeah, 3 years ago. Time does fly. Saka and Havertz or Saka and Elise? Saka and Elise to kind of vary things a little bit. Start Pickford or -4-4? I'd just start Pickford. If it was Areola, I'd be tempted to take a hit because I think City could really destroy West Ham. In this situation, I'd keep Pickford. He could still get 3-4 points despite not keeping a clean sheet if that were to be the case. Alfred says Bruno, Edison and Watkins to Elise, Ortega and Mateta for a -4. I think I'd do it, but Bruno and Watkins are difficult to sell. -4 for Havertz or start Mateta from the bench? Start Mateta from the bench. Elise or Gakpo? Elise. Maggie says, chasing 4 points, only differential is Elise. Should I captain the differential, Son or Palmer as well? If Elise is your only different player from your mini-league leader, I can understand what you're saying there. But, yeah, in terms of captaining Son or Palmer, only do it if you really back them to outscore Haaland or to at least rival him. If you don't have that feeling, just captain Haaland and find another differential elsewhere. Robertson or Gusto to start? Robertson, which it seems like he's starting. I'd rather start him instead. Elliott likes scoring against Wolves. Yeah, I've seen a few people talk about buying him. I'm not against it. I think I'd include Son on the free hit, but if you want to go for some differentials, I think Havertz, Elise are fine, and you might have to displace one of Saka or Son to do that. Yeah, I think I'm starting Borro. 3 favourite FPL moments this season. Probably Gordon's 17-point haul against Tottenham would be up there. What else? I mean, I'll be honest, I can't think of many. But maybe looking back on it, if I check the individual game weeks, something will pop up. But that's definitely one that springs to mind. Anything else? I don't think so. Maybe the double game week where I trip up on Arsenal. Obviously, it's kind of basic. Everyone did it. But just getting Raya and getting that 10 points against Wolves, for example, that was pretty decent. But of course, those that went for White ended up, getting the rub of the green. Obviously, White is a great FPL asset. Elise starts for Isak. Yeah, I'd start Elise over him. If Watkins is 10, 11 million, he isn't worth it without the penalties. Yeah, I don't know. If he can build upon this season, I think he could be worth 10 million, but I don't think he'll be massively owned. Hello, Dylan. My friend just got different 6 points with me. If your opinion, do I transfer 2 players -4? Is it okay? Well, yeah, it depends on who you buy and who you sell, but yeah, 10-point difference would become. You can still overcome that and end up finishing top. Elise, Eze, or Mateta, who is the best Palace option? Elise for me. Is Mateta over Isak worth it to make up rank? It's definitely worth considering. I do prefer Mateta this week, but I don't see a massive difference between the two. Haaland or Salah? Salah. Garnacho or Isak? Isak. Yeah, I'm getting a few spam questions here, or comments, so let me just deal with that. Give me a second. That's a bit weird, so it's not even coming up on here. Alright, so let's get the stream to over 100 likes if we haven't already. Yeah, we're very close to that, so be sure to smash the like button. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. Alright, there we go, that's dealt with. Alright, we have gone through many questions already, and there's just over an hour left until the deadline. So yeah, time does fly when you're having fun. Have you seen the season of Union Berlin? They played Champions League and just yesterday avoided relegation. Yeah, I was aware of it because when I was making use of your fantasy content, well, I still am, but for the group stages, I did research on Union Berlin. They were losing or drawing every single week, and there was a massive drop-off. Best goalkeeper this week, I'd say David Raya. Last week really killed my season, went from 115k to 178k and lost the first place in my mini league. Well, hopefully you can get first place back. But yeah, it's a bit disheartening when it happens so late in the season, and Gameweek 37 did have huge variance for those that didn't bench boost or maybe that didn't captain. Actually, captaincy was generally fine, I think, unless you captain Isak, but yeah. Football is dying slowly. Ronaldo, Benzema, Neymar playing in SPL. Royce leaving Dortmund. Bale, Chiellini, Buffon. Ozil retiring. Messi, Alba, Biscuits, Suarez playing in the MLS is sad. Well, that's the thing, though. Different generations. It's the passing of one era to another. Unfortunately, this era doesn't look that great. When we're talking about Vinicius being the best player in the world and Foden being the best Premier League player, I just can't get on board with it, to be honest. They're good players, but are they really that good? Not for me. Brennan Johnson or Harvey Elliott for a punt. I'd say, I'm going to go for Harvey Elliott here. League so far, Darwin, Gordon, Isak, no. Salah, Robertson, tick. So Isak's not playing. Interesting. That is very interesting indeed. That might change things, actually, for me, where I keep Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, I keep Bruno Fernandes and I sell Gordon to Elise. So thank you for that, Nuclear Atoms. Let me know where you got the Isak one, which I'm particularly interested in. Callum Wilson is with the squad today. Isak is on my bench, looking more likely. Yeah, same here. So I do appreciate that. What are your thoughts on my plans of doing Bruno, Gordon, and Isak to Salah, Elliott, and Maniz from -8? I like the Salah transfer a lot. Elliott is a decent differential. I would prefer Mateta over Maniz, though, if you can. Trying to chase 14 points. Should I go different captain? Only if you believe either Palmer, Son, whoever you captain, can rival and outscore Haaland. If you believe that, go for it. I did in Gameweek 36. It backfired, but it's about trusting your gut and backing your thought process there. But with a 14-point deficit, I think it can be worth it for sure, yeah. The thing is, if you already have 2 or 3 different players to your mini-league rival, and you captain the same player in Haaland, you can still make up those 14 points, but albeit it will be less likely. Will Saka play 90 minutes? It's possible. I think he definitely plays over 70. I think Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Newcastle United, Villa will all be at a similar level next season. Yeah, I personally think Aston Villa will drop off a little bit. And I think Tottenham, I mean, they had this thing where, let's lose to City to prevent Arsenal winning the title, but I'm not sure they'll, be very happy with that in the long term. They might not get into the Champions League for a very long time. I'm not even sure. I think the summer window is very important. I think Liverpool finished top 4, and I'd probably say Chelsea at the moment, but let's wait and see. 5.2 million defender, non-Spurs, City or Chelsea. Tomiyasu from Arsenal, but he's not a guaranteed starter. Vicario or Petrovic? Probably Vicario. Best goalkeeper this game week, David Raya. Gordon to Elise or Fernandes to Havertz? Gordon to Elise. What do you think, Dylan? KDB for Foden, Gordon for Havertz, Pau for Gvardiol, -4. Great transfers. The only slight doubt I would have is selling KDB, Ignacio, but the rest looks really good. So yeah, Diaz starts, says Nuclear Atoms. Isak and Gordon out. Sources FBL Joe. Quote from the leaker, Gordon is 100% not in the team. Isak is 80% bench, 20% not even in the squad. Late check. Let me check this. Is it a reliable source? I'm guessing it is, but I always try to get things, or just try to verify it myself. I dare you to make your transfer with less than 30 seconds to go? No, because the website could really crash today. I don't want to risk it, so yeah, I'm not going to do that. Let me just get this up. FPL. So let's see this. FTB. Jesus, I probably should have just copied and pasted it. Can I do that? All right. I just got the page now. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Let's see. Gordon will not be with the team. Yeah, I saw the tweets now. Sometimes I check the replies and see what people are saying, because you have these accounts that kind of delete things when they're wrong, and yeah, they do all this stuff. Let's wait and see. So yeah, thanks to those that have liked the stream already. We are 9 away from 100. Be sure to get this stream to over 100, and then after that we can push on to new goals and bigger numbers. And this is the final FPL deadline stream of the season. There could be a reaction stream today, but yeah, today's going to be hectic. I'll probably be out watching the games, and yeah, if not, maybe later this week. And there obviously will be UCL Fantasy content for the Champions League final. Probably a best wildcard and limitless team rolled together into one, since there's really not much difference between the two at this point of the season. The team selection, and of course the deadline stream on the 1st of June. Be sure not to miss it. And Euro Fantasy Football content is likely to be on my channel. I'll confirm it once I know for sure. Saka out for Elise or Havertz. Keep Saka, is my opinion. Start Jackson or Isak. I said Isak throughout most of the stream, but if the rumours are true and Isak is benched, then Jackson is the one to go for there. It wouldn't matter if it was Mateta or Manice, as they would be benched anyways. Oh, I see what you're saying. I just prefer Mateta in general, if you can go to him, but fair enough. Nkuku, good punt for Isak. If Isak is out, yeah. I do prefer Gakpo, Mateta, and Jackson. Watkins, of course, who's always a good option. But yeah, I think Nkuku could be a decent punt, definitely. And differentials could really reign today. Just imagine the emotions on Anfield if today was the title-deciding game versus Wolves. Yeah, I thought Liverpool would go at least until Game Week 36, 37 with a genuine chance of winning the title. I was quite surprised by how they fell off. It was a bit similar to Arsenal last season. And it's a shame we didn't get that three-way title race until the end. It was a good title race regardless, but yeah, for City to win it again is a bit underwhelming. Play Garnacho if Isak doesn't start, or go for a -8. I'd go for a -8, I think. Depends who you can bring in, but if you can get Elise, Havertz, Odegaard, Trossard, Eze, any of those players, I'd highly recommend it. Johnny Love says, hey Dylan, same team, got Gusto and Walker, Gordon to Elise and play Bruno. Yeah, that's my current thinking at the moment as well. Probably the best if these leaks are true. I completely agree. Now, if Isak does start, I'll probably stick with my plan which is to sell either Bruno or Gordon to Havertz or Elise, basically. But I'd bench Bruno Fernandes in that scenario, I think. Mateta or Joao Pedro? Mateta. 67 clear of my mini league. You think this is secured? Yeah, it pretty much is, unless you accidentally taken many hits or something. Make sure your password is fully secured. Unique player to use triple captain on to go up in my mini league. I'd say an Arsenal attacker or Elise. Even Salah, if you can go to Salah and captain him, I think that's massive this week. It really is. So one of those. So Elliot starts according to Anfield Insight. Thank you for the updates, Nuclear Atoms. Nkuku won't play more than 60 minutes. Poch said he doesn't want to risk him. Yeah, that's the main concern with Nkuku. But he is a good player, and he could be a good FPL option next season. If Isak is not playing, Bruno out for Elise Havertz. Worth it or play Bruno? I really wouldn't mind either. I think Bruno's a decent option this week, but taking a -4 hit is what puts me off from Elise or Havertz in this scenario. I think I'd just play Bruno. We don't know yet if Gakpo's starting, but I personally think he will. Yeah, let's wait and see if I've actually got that right. Do you think Leverkusen will fall off next year? I think they will make it out of the groups and probably lose to City or Madrid. Yeah, and of course it's a new format next season. We've got kind of like a league table for the group stages. I think they will drop off and lose at least 5 games. I don't see them doing what they did this year. They could even be poached with certain players. If not this year, it will probably happen very soon, which is the sad kind of reality for a lot of these clubs. But yeah, look, they might still win another trophy next season, whether it be a Bundesliga or a German Cup, but I don't see them winning the Champions League. West Ham new manager Lopetegui, what do you think? He was decent at Wolves. I never necessarily rated Lopetegui that highly as a coach, but he could be a good appointment for West Ham. They needed something different. David Moyes, of course, I know he's hated by some West Ham fans, or they're kind of tired of him, but he did win them a trophy, which is massive. Even if it's only Europa Conference League, it's better than nothing. Mateta's a great captaincy choice in my opinion. Yeah, I think he's good. Yeah. Best Arsenal mid, I'd say Saka, Havertz, Odegaard in that order. Trossard 4th, but honestly, very tricky to rank them. No De Bruyne news whatsoever at the moment, but I think he'll play. Should I triple captain or do a bench boost? Depends who you have on your bench and, you know, who triple captain. Yeah, I don't know your bench, so it's tough for me to say. Who do you think is a better captaincy option out of Palmer and Foden? Palmer for me. Yeah, triple captain Palmer, I'm on board. Who do I bench, Isak or Bruno? If the rumours are to be believed, I'd bench Isak. Do you like Hudson-Odoi versus an already relegated Burnley? As a differential, it's fine. I do prefer Gibbs-White, but there's not much in it. My team lineup, yeah, pretty standard stuff. I'm not sure who your goalkeeper is, but as long as it's not Areola, you should be fine. Good luck today, Dylan. Come on, you Gunners. Choose 2 of Son, Saka and Foden. Saka and Foden, dare I say. Isak to Mateta. Yeah, if Isak is benched, I think Mateta's a good option to replace him. Made it to top 1,000, nice stuff, and terribly eager to captain a cold Palmer this game, considering numerous players in the top 1,000 play it safe to secure their rank. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's a difficult scenario to be in. But yeah, if you're feeling Palmer, I'd go for it because you're only in that position because you followed your gut and trusted your instincts. Gordon to Saka or Havertz? I personally think Saka is a better option this week, but the kind of other side to it is that Havertz is lower owned and he's been more consistent in this calendar year. But in this one-off game, I do prefer Saka a little bit more. Emmanuel says, Dylan, should I triple captain Haaland or just do a bench boost for Elise, Senesi or Nina? Well, Elise as part of the bench boost looks great, but I think I triple captain Haaland. If Leverkusen win Champions League and League next season, Xabi Alonso may be a god disguised as Xabi. Yeah, it's not happening, in my opinion. Obviously, in football, you never know, but very unlikely. Well, I know Gavardio's been the most informed Man City player recently, but I don't think I'd captain him. Not this week. I could see West Ham scoring 1 goal, giving Arsenal some hope, but yeah, I just wouldn't captain him today. I remember watching a short of Real Madrid laughing at Barca, and a Barca fan said, "Where's your Club of the Century award?" Yeah, well, with Madrid, though, they're the most successful club in history. But both Barca and Real Madrid you know, they've had some dodgy decisions their way, to put it lightly. KDB to Salah for a -8. I'd only do that if KDB is confirmed to be benched. If Isak is out, what are your plans? Good question. Probably Gordon to Elise and start him over Isak. I could also do Isak to Mateta. And then, yeah, I could just stick with the plan, which is Fernandes to Havertz. But then, yeah, I don't think that'd be a great idea because then I'd probably take a -4 hit. So, yeah, the Kai Havertz stream doesn't look like I'm going to do it. I think Elise is very likely to be my transfer. So let's see what happens, but that's pretty much it. Saka or Garnacho? Shouldn't be a question in my opinion. Saka. Elise or Saka? Close. I'd probably go for Saka. Palmer player of the season, starting the season at 5 million. Maybe the unlikeliest thing to ever happen in FPL. Yeah, he won the Young Player of the Season award. And yeah, it's definitely one of the biggest debut seasons or kind of breakout seasons that a player's had. Opinions on Nkunku as a huge differential? Yeah. Once again, the minutes are a big concern, but he's all right. I think he's all right. Yeah, Richard, not for me. I'm not going to lie. I think just with the 115 charges, the fact that the Premier League's kind of turning into a farmers league, well, it already has. If it wasn't for Liverpool or even Arsenal recently, we'd have literally no title race in the last 5 years, which is very boring, I think. Even when I was, watching it from afar and seeing Liverpool versus City go at it, you always had that kind of sensation that, yeah, City are going to win it anyway, aren't they? Is Isak out? There are rumours that he's benched. I'm not sure how reliable these sources are. If Isak isn't playing, what about transferring him to Wilson? Not a bad shout, but Brentford are in good form, and Wilson isn't exactly the most reliable in terms of minutes or staying fit. Thank you, Abbo. Thank you very much for the efforts and tips this season and previous seasons. I appreciate it, Abbo, and good luck with the final game week. Haaland or Palmer captain? I'm currently going for Haaland, but not going to lie, I might just go a bit different and just go for Palmer. It's not even a massive differential, so to speak, but I am tired of captaining this guy. Do you reckon Jesus starts? No, I don't think so. I think Arsenal will go for a similar lineup to recent weeks. So Raya in goal, Tomiyasu, Gabriel, Saliba, White, Rice, Partey, Odegaard, with Trossard, Havertz and Saka. Trent or Borro? I'd say Borro because of the nature of the opponent, but very close. Will Palmer score more than Haaland today? Hopefully. At the moment, I'm thinking Haaland, so he's my captain. Thoughts on Isak, Son and Bruno to Salah, Havertz / Elise and Mateta for a -4? Looks good to me. The only issue, of course, once again, I go back to it, selling Son and Bruno, especially Son against Sheffield United. But yeah, I think for a -4 it's good, A4. Dergish says KDB, Isak, Gordon to Salah, Mateta, Kai Havertz / Elise -8. Once again, really good. KDB could backfire, but I think I'd go for it. Barca went from having 3 of the best attackers in the world to not having a single top 50 player in the world. They might have a few top 50 players, but the top 50 nowadays is weaker than it was back then. For some Forest mids, I think Gibbs White's my favourite with Hudson-Odoi in second, and then you've got Elanga in third. But yeah, back in Game Week 29, when we needed them, only Gibbs White delivered, and I went for Elanga on that occasion. Yusuf says bench 1, Borro, Romero, Saliba, Gvardiol. Probably Romero there. Hello Dylan, play Doughty or Region? I play Region. And is Gakpo better than Jackson for this game week? I think slightly better, yeah. Mbeumo's an option, another good choice. He's been in good form. Newcastle at home though. In my gut feeling, I'm not that confident that he produces a big return, but he is a good option on paper. I had him at the beginning of this season, and he's been pretty decent considering the lack of minutes he's had. So, yeah, he's a good option, but I just think for this week, there are better alternatives. Bojan says, thanks for all your answered questions this season, Dylan. Best of luck in this final game week. Thank you very much, and likewise to you. Enjoy it, most importantly of all, and hopefully you reach your objectives. Who are your top 3 mids under 7 million to bring in this week? Elise, Eze, and Trossard, if I'm not mistaken. I think Trossard might be a bit... Let me just double check that. Yeah, I'll go with those 3. Yeah. Of course, Palmer goes without saying, right? He's obviously in it. So Elise, Trossard, and Eze. Hi, Dylan. Got Gordon flagged. Simple swap to Elise? I think so. Where would Barca finish in the Premier League? I think third or fourth. Maybe last season they would have finished a bit higher, but I just think from this season they'd be third or fourth. Ortega or Petrovic? Ortega. My team in FPL Challenge is Turner, Doughty, Reguilon, Konsa, Havertz, Palmer, Salah, Elise, Fernandes, Haaland, and Wilson. Looks very good. I might have to go for it myself. Yeah, I'm just not sure about Turner, for example, and also I'd say Doughty. The rest looks pretty solid though. If Isak is benched, Gordon to Trossard -4 worth it? Yeah, I think so. Captain Palmer, Son or Saka as a differential? I'd say Palmer. Not a massive differential, but he's the best option for me. I'm captaining Son. Is it crazy? No, it'd be typical, right? For him to score now when there's nothing on the line, when Spurs can't even finish in the Champions League spot, and against a very easy opponent. I just think the way that game could go, I could see Spurs scoring 4 or 5. Alfie says Bruno, Gordon, Isak to Salah, Elise, Munoz for a -4, or Bruno/Gordon to Saka/Elise. Keep Isak for free. I'd go for the -4 option, especially if we find out that Isak is benched. Now, with Muniz, I think that's Muniz, right? I wouldn't want to start him necessarily. He's not one of my favourite forwards this week, but Luton Town's a good fixture. I'm not sure if Gordon's good to play. A lot of sources are indicating that he will not be in the squad. Sell Haaland for Salah -4? No, I wouldn't do that. I'm probably doing Gordon, Bruno to Elise, Trossard, Elliott, captain one of them. I like playing differential and not too worried about rank. 180k at the moment. That's fair enough. Yeah, it really is. I might have to just have a similar approach in terms of the only way I can really get into the top 100k is by going against Haaland as the captain and, yeah, and having, let's say, Palmer, for example, outscoring him. Nailing that captaincy on would be very important for me. And yeah, I think Elise coming in and starting Bruno, which is another differential. So I see what you're saying there. I think from those 3 players you mentioned, Elise and Trossard are my favourites. Eze or Elise in for Gordon? Elise for me. We are getting a lot of similar questions, so just be aware of that. Some of them might not be answered just for the sake of repetition. So Haaland starts according to FPL Tony. Thank you for that, Dergish. So yeah, we are very close now to the deadline. 42 minutes, right? Yeah, 41 minutes. So be sure to lock in your teams as soon as possible. But we are going to get some leaks, it seems, for the next 30, 40 minutes. Salah, Mateta, Ortega in for Bruno, Isak, Edison out for a -4. I'd say yes. Adil says, with the news about Newcastle, should I now do Gordon to Elise and start Bruno over Isak for free? I'd also say yes there. I'm looking at something similar. Vicario or Petrovic? Vicario. Omara puts his team. Any suggestions? 2 free transfers and 0.5 million remaining. Your defensive line, well, I'd say needs work, but you've got White, Bodder or Gavadio. I think that's enough. You start Petrovic in goal. Yeah, you need a midfielder transfer for me. You've got Garnacho and Gordon, who I'm not a big fan of this week. I'd personally do Gordon to Elise, which seems boring. I've said it so many times today, but I really back him to do well. So Gordon to Elise, and if you were to make another move, maybe Isak to Mateta, or what else could you do? Isak to Wilson as well. I think that's what I'd recommend, O'Amara. Apparently Bowen is out. Yeah, no comment. Elise, Jackson, and Isak. Which 2 to start, mate? Elise and Jackson, based on the rumours we're seeing about Isak benched. Odegaard and Havertz head-to-head, please. I'll try to do that, but don't think I've got it on me. I'll try to go for that soon. Would you sell Isak for a -4 or just play Garnacho? I'd sell Isak for a -4. I'm not really feeling Garnacho today. In my opinion, Brentford will be better than Newcastle. I could see that happening, especially if Isak is on the bench and Gordon is out of the squad. Salah or Haaland captain? Salah for me. Saka, Havertz or Trossard? Saka. Salah, Gordon, bench, and Mateta or Trossard, KDB and Gakpo, bench. I'd go for the Salah option. Do you reckon Villa players are okay for this week, or do you think they're already on the beach? Well, you can see it from a number of different ways. One, they're playing without pressure, so They might just be free to express themselves. They might even perform better. But at the same time, as you mentioned, they could be on the beach, nothing to play for, just a bit of fun, really. They might even play some youngsters or give them good minutes off the bench. I think Watkins is always a good option. But apart from that, I'm not too keen. Douglas Luiz is poor away from home, typically speaking, unless he gets a penalty or something. Bailey, you know, he on his day is obviously a quality player, but I wouldn't go for any Aston Villa defenders. I wouldn't go for Emi Martinez in goal. So apart from Watkins, I'm not really too interested. Havertz, Trossard or Elise? Between Havertz and Elise for me. Probably going to make transfers soon in case of a crash. Yeah. Try to make it 10-15 minutes in advance at the very least. And of course, if you do it now, that's fine. Best captain between Trossard and White? Probably Trossard for me. Salah for KDB? If you can do it for free, yes. Do in fact have enough for Trossard? Very hard to choose between him and Elise. I'd personally go for Elise here, but Trossard's good. Play Johnson or Jackson? Jackson for me. Venkat says start Garnacho or Gusto. Probably Gusto. Bring in Elise or Trossard for Gordon? Elise. Why Elise over Eze? Is it personal preference? Well, if you look at it, Elise has had a lot more double-digit returns this season. He's been very explosive, especially in home matches. So it really comes down to that. So if we kind of break it down, Elise, let me just get this up. So Elise averages 6.6 points per game. And with Eze, for example, I think it's 4.5. There's a massive difference there. In terms of double-digit hauls, Eze has free for the season. I think Elise has about 5 or 6 at the least. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 double-digit returns for Elise, free for Eze. The bonus points, he typically gets a goal and an assist in the same game. So yeah, that's pretty much the main reason why. And also in recent weeks, I think Elise has been more consistent in terms of the output. Salah for a -4 or Saka for free? Salah for a -4. Why any Planets player if they don't have anything to play for? They had nothing to play for recently and they've won 5 out of 6. So, yeah. Madrid and City rivalry about to be even bigger. No team comes close in my opinion. Yeah, but how long will that last? Probably until Pep goes, and then you'll probably see City drop off. Will you start Gusto over any of your current defenders? No. I've already got Petrovic in goal as well. So, yeah, I probably wouldn't. Luton, Adebayo as an ultimate differential. I think Keith mentioned it very recently. It's not a bad shout. Either him or Manice from that game. Could be decent, or Morris. I just think there are better forwards like Mateta, Wilson if he starts, Watkins, Jackson, and of course Haaland. Got Salah, but captain Haaland, 15 points chasing. I'd personally go for Salah captain regardless, but it's up to you. No updates on Gakpo, but rumours are that Isak is benched. I'm not sure how reliable the sources are. Best differential players, Havertz, Eze, Elise, Mateta, Trossard. Salah's a captain. They're all differentials. Good to see you, Shavain. What's your moves, Dylan? Probably going to be Gordon to Elise and start him over Isak. Cheers for answering all the questions, mate. Who are your top 3 Isak replacements? I'm not sure you have already. I'm guessing you have Haaland. But yeah, I'd say number 1, Mateta. 2, Watkins. And 3, Jackson. That's probably my top 3. If Isak is benched, I'd take a -4 for Watkins, Mateta, or simply play Garnacho. I'd take a -4 hit. Son to Salah and Isak to Mateta for a -4. I'd do it. The only thing that could backfire is selling Son. Dylan, is it worth selling Isak and KDB to Salah captain and Mateta for a -4? Yeah. Brentford will want to end the season well at home versus Newcastle. To be fair, every team wants to end the season well, but yeah. Both teams don't really have, well, Newcastle have something to play for, that Europa League place, but seems unlikely. At the League 2 playoff finals, Bruno to Havertz or start Mateta? Enjoy it, Rayhan. Very, very tricky one. I think I'd go to Havertz. Udhav says, I have Edison and Onana and 2 free transfers. Should I play Onana and spend 2 free transfers on forwards and midfielders, or should I bring in Ortega and spend 1 free transfer on the midfield forward positions? I'd probably spend it on the 2 forward positions, the outfield transfers, and just play Onana. because I think it's going to be quite difficult to predict these points as well. Not the points, sorry, the clean sheets. Jackson out, says Phobia. Let me know where you got that from. That'd be not ideal for my FPL team, but Gameweek 38 is typically filled with some rotation and some surprising picks and punts. Chavain Puss's team, Haaland captain, Elise vice, good stuff, solid defensive line. I think I'll end up having a very similar attack. Yeah, and your bench is also quite solid. Isak or Watkins? Probably Watkins. There are a lot of rumours that Isak is benched. No reliable updates on KDB just yet. Keep Bruno. In certain scenarios, yeah, but if you can sell him to Bruno, if you can sell him to Salah, Saka, Havertz, Elise, I'd probably recommend it actually. Song captain, or am I crazy? Well, he's been in poor form, but the fixture's there. I think he'll return. I could think of worse, that's for sure, but Palmer's my preference, and of course Erling Haaland and the typical names there. Deadly for you too, use free hit, rate my team. Should I start Jackson or Mateta? I'd go for Mateta. Yeah, solid team. Probably a 9 out of 10, considering it's a free hit. You've got most of the best options this week. Salah captain. Yeah, I'd say 9 out of 10. You know, I typically don't say 10 out of 10 because no team is perfect and you always get some surprises, but it's very similar to what I'd go for on the free hit. In fact, looking at my free hit team, I'm just wondering who your third defender is because you only said Gabriel and Gvardiol, but yeah, looks solid. Would you sell Isak from -4 or play Muniz from Palace? I'd sell... Oh, Munoz, sorry. From Palace. I'd probably take a -4 hit. Since returning from injury, Trent has 13 points in 6 games. How much do you think he costs next season? I think there will be a price decrease. I'd say 6.5 million. Thoughts on Odegaard this week? Great home record against Everton. Not discussed much throughout the community. I've talked about him a lot today. I actually don't mind Odegaard whatsoever. Edison is the best bad keeper in the world. Yeah, look, he's a good keeper. Can be very frustrating, I think. Really, Phobia? Bowen, Paqueta and Kudus not playing. Come on, man. Not going to say anything. I'll keep my opinions to myself. But yeah, let me know where you got that from, just so I can verify the information. Vincent says, worth selling Bruno for Havertz on a -4? I need to go all out for this week. I'd probably keep Bruno. Will Liverpool keep a clean sheet? My prediction is 3-1 Liverpool. They can keep a clean sheet, but I think we'll score. Newcastle got 57 points. Chelsea got 60. If Chelsea lose and Newcastle win, the same amount of banter Chelsea will get. Yeah, especially after spending that much in the last couple of years. Gvardiol for -4. Depends who you sell and who you'd have coming in if you didn't take a hit. Start Garnacho or Isak. I would have said Isak, but I'm not really too keen on him now. Salah, best captain for this game week? I think so. Captain Palmer over Haaland is a good idea. Yeah, if you're chasing a little bit, I think that's a good shout. I might do it myself, to be honest. But if the West Ham rumours are to be true and they're rotating that much, I think I'm just going to stick with Haaland in that case. Edison is trash and overrated in my opinion, says Man United is finished. Dubravka or Pickford? Dubravka. Sell 1, Jackson or Isak for Mateta? Probably Isak. The system is not working, says Shire. Not sure what you're on about. Tayo Cruz says, hi Dylan, should I use my free transfer on Onana to Raya or Gordon to Havertz? Gordon to Havertz. Keep Garnacho. Not a big fan of him this week. I know Brighton are, you know, full of injuries, but not really too keen on Garnacho away from home. Sam says, sell it. Gvardiol or Borro? Gvardiol. Max Power says, bring in Pedro, Trossard and Gakpo from -8. Looks good, but I'm not sure who you're selling. Is a -8 worth it to get in Salah and captain him, says Adil. Yep. Keep or sell Isak to Mateta or Gakpo? Mateta for me. Son / Fernandes to an Arsenal midfielder for a -4. It would be Fernandes making way, and I'd keep Son. Buy Salah but don't have Arsenal mid, or prefer having Arsenal mid but don't have Salah? I prefer having Salah. That's why I've been talking about him as the best captaincy option for Gameweek 38. So very quickly, since it was requested, let's check this out. So let's bring in this player comparison that I was asked about earlier before I forget. By the way, we have half an hour left until the deadline, so be sure to lock in your teams. So the comparison was Odegaard and Havertz. And spoiler alert, I think Mr. Havertz will have better stats. So, yeah. Good. Yeah, that will do. So Havertz has 12 goals and 10 FPL assists, while Odegaard has 8 goals and 9 FPL assists. More shots for Odegaard, but in terms of XG, Havertz has 11.12 compared to Odegaard 7.16. Expected assist though, Odegaard, I mean, he's been robbed so many times. 9.58 expected assists, 95 key passes. So in terms of creativity and bonus points, Odegaard is the guy. But Kai Havertz has been very consistent in 2024 in terms of goals and assists, typically getting both of them in the same game, which is very impressive. 21 big chances for the German and 6 for Martin Odegaard. If we actually compare the bonus points, just so I can put it into actual numbers. So Odegaard has 24 bonus points for the season, whilst Kai Havertz, actually to be fair, might be identical. Well, Kai Havertz has 15, and a lot of them have come in recent weeks. Or in this calendar year, in fact. So, yeah, Odegaard for bonus points and assists. But in terms of goals, yeah, Kai Havertz is definitely the one. Be sure to smash the like button if you haven't already. Let's get this stream to over 150. It'd be massively appreciated to round off the season. And thank you to those that have supported the channel throughout the entire year. Let's now go back to my FPL team. Maybe later on I can actually go through FPL Challenge, which, as you can see, is incomplete there. No need to talk about that just yet. So, yeah, within the next 10-15 minutes, I'll be locking in my transfers. I was actually very close, or, I was considering going for Palmer captain, but after seeing all this stuff, online about West Ham benching players, yeah, I just don't know if I want to go against Haaland this week. I think only captaincy will get you a green arrow this week. Every team is virtually the same. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Trent at 6.5 million would be an easy pick. Yeah, potentially. It also depends how the fixtures are scheduled. If Liverpool have a good start to the season on paper, probably Saka for me, Ruben. If West Ham win today and Arsenal lose, the world may end soon. Yeah, West Ham aren't winning today. A draw is obviously, I'd say that's slightly possible, but not with the team news I'm seeing. KDB or Foden? Foden. Start Onana or Petrovic? Petrovic. Tomiyasu or Bolly? Bolly. Tomiyasu. Gordon to Havertz or Elise? I'm going for Elise, I think. Branthwaite or Burn to start? Burn. Foden or KDB captain? Foden. Got Gabriel in defence. Now for goalkeeper Raya or Petrovic? Raya. Vincent says best captain this week. Salah. Going Salah captain. Now wish me luck. Yeah, good luck, mate. I think it's a good option. Yeah, challenge team I'll try to show you after the deadline, I think. After the FPL deadline, that is, you'll still have time to, I'll still have time to make it before that FPL challenge deadline. Hi, Dylan. Do you think Havertz plus Saka in for Gordon and Garnacho -4 is too much, or just do one? Thanks for a great season. Thank you, RHPVB. No, I think that's fine. I think that's absolutely fine. I personally look to sell Gordon and Garnacho, but what you could do is buy a Palace attacker like Elise and vary things a little bit that way. So Diaz, Gakpo, Salah and Trent start via FPL Tony. Fair enough. Yeah, looks pretty good. Start Munoz or Burn? I would start probably Burn. Salah, but no Palace or Arsenal mids or forwards for a -8. I'd go for Salah. Close, but I'd do that. Bruno to Saka or Odegaard or Havertz? Saka's my favourite out of the three. Ashraf says, hey Dylan, I want Salah, so I want to remove Bruno, Son and Isak for Salah, Havertz and Mateta for a -4. Thoughts? It looks good overall, but with players like Bruno and Son, it could come back to bite you. Yeah, sure thing, Man United's finished. I'll go through them as well very soon. Deadly for you too says, hi Dylan, third defender was Borro, same backline as yours, but I have Raya starting in goal. Thanks for your advice. I will go with Mateta. I hope it pays off for you. And yeah, Borro's absolutely fine as a third defender. 30 minutes, chasers, time to chill, champs. Yeah, lock in your team soon. Have your FPL app ready just in case. But yeah, just don't make late transfers because it could come back to bite you. Odegaard, nah, Havertz, ha, says Man United is finished. Gavardio, captain over Haaland, not for me. It's not a bad shout. I could think of worse. He's in great form, but I think Haaland could score a hat-trick easily. So Paqueta starts according to West Ham Extra. That's more like it. Come on. Come on, Hammers. Come on, your irons. Oh, God. You can never rely on other teams. You know, you got to do the business yourself. Arsenal have been very good this year, but yeah, a few results have definitely been, well, not good enough. Palmer, good differential captain, yes. Best goalkeeper, Raya. Best midfield differential, Elise. Best Isak replacement, Mateta. Jackson starting, I think so, but I saw someone earlier put an X mark. I'm not sure why. Bowen is benched according to West Ham Extra. Great. Good to see you, Twister Parky. I'm still 50-50 on getting Trent or Borro. I'll go for the stats if you want. That might help you with your decision, but ultimately it's up to you. I just would prefer Borro because of the attacking data. When you look at Sheffield United and the amount of chances they concede on that right-hand side where Borro operates in. So if we put the stats here, they will be kind of slanted because Trent has missed more football this season. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, 3 goals, 5 assists for Trent, 2 goals and 8 FPL assists for Borro. 8 more shots for the Spaniard, but of course he has played 7 more games. XG is identical. Expected assists also very, very similar. Both of them with 2 big chances. Yeah, I don't think this is going to help you very much, is it? If anything, it maybe shows you that Trent has slightly better underlying numbers considering the number of minutes he has played. Wolves are decimated by injuries, but then Sheffield United are the worst team in the league. So they're definitely plus points for both of them. If we look at bonus points, though, that will be quite interesting. They're both bonus points magnets for their teams. Trent is more of a differential. So 18 bonus points for Borro, which is very impressive for a defender, especially considering that Spurs rarely keep clean sheets. Trent Alexander-Arnold has 19 bonus points despite playing fewer minutes. So yeah, I think the underlying numbers would point towards Trent, but I'm personally backing Borro because of the fixture, and I think Spurs will finally keep a clean sheet, although that's not set in stone. So yeah, if you have any links about, you know, leaks and stuff, be sure to drop them in the live chat so everyone can see and we can go through them together. But yeah, let's now go to my FPL team again and start locking things in because we've got 23 minutes until the final deadline of the season. I can see Arsenal playing scared today. I see Tottenham, Liverpool and City and even Palace scoring way more goals. The thing is, I think the way things are where Arsenal know they need a miracle. They need West Ham to get a draw or win at the Etihad. I personally think Arsenal will play with less pressure, which is a good thing for the attackers. You might be right. I think if Arsenal went into this game top of the league, I think you'd be spot on, and Arsenal would play with a bit of fear, and you know they'd be very nervous, and that's where you could see Everton really causing a lot of problems. But I think the way things have gone, Arsenal are underdogs. I'm not so sure if they'll be that nervous. So the Liverpool lineup is Alisson, Van Dijk, Quansah, Robertson, Trent, McAllister, Elliott, Endo, Gakpo, Diaz and Salah. Interesting stuff there. Good lineup there. Thank you very much. Is KDB starting? We don't know yet, but I think he will. Start Adingra or Jackson? Jackson. Leno or Raya? Raya. Don't really want to take a hit, and only players I want to remove are Jackson or Gordon. Who to bring in? I'd probably go for, yeah, Gordon out to Elise, for example, but I don't know your funds. So if you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Let's get to 150 likes on YouTube. It'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, if I helped you out in any sort of way. I've answered hundreds of questions in this stream, as I typically do, and there is more headed your way with UCL Fantasy content, videos and live streams ahead of the Champions League final in Matchday 13, and potentially Euro Fantasy Football content for the summer. And going into next season, the plan is to do more FPL content. And yeah, I'll keep you posted on all of that as usual. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and check all the other links in the description below for my Patreon, the Championships Discord server, FPL League, FPL Challenge, Drafthound, as well as Spotify and Amazon Music. And you do me a huge favor by going to Amazon Music or Spotify and leaving a 5-star review on my podcast. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. Just going to do some background noise right now very quickly. I'll literally be back in a few seconds. And then I'm going to go back to my team and lock in the final squad for FPL for the entire season. Yeah, just a few seconds. All good, don't worry. It's not the end just yet. There's still 20 minutes to go. So let's go back to my FPL team, which looks incredibly boring, that is. Thank you for the super chat. Let me get through that now. So Baharibo, always appreciate your contributions to the channel. Hi Dylan, please help me decide between Elise and Johnson. Are you feeling any of them? Good luck, see you next season. Definitely Elise for me. I've been highlighting him all week as a buy in the Transits video and podcast. He was also a top differential mention in the best free hit team. And I know Aston Villa is a tough game on paper, but I really do back Elise to do well in this game. He has 6 double-digit returns for the season in only 1,000 minutes played. So, yeah, I think Elise is definitely one. Yeah, I'd definitely go for him over Johnson. Elliot looking very tempting. A lot of people are saying the same thing, and I don't blame you. Would you start Gusto or Welbeck in place of Isak? I'd personally favour Gusto, but Welbeck has scored against Man United in the past. Son or Havertz/Trossard? Son. Isak benched and Gordon out, says Trenix. Yeah, I saw those rumours earlier. So no surprise for City, KDB, Foden, Haaland all start according to Team News FPL. Yeah, I've heard of that page before. I'm not sure if they're entirely reliable, but yeah, I think that is pretty standard stuff. Let's see if that turns out to be the case. Thank you for the update there. Sell KDB to Foden for a hit. Not for a hit. Hi Dylan, do you back Havertz over Elise? Probably Elise, which I discussed in the team selection video and podcast on Friday. Green arrows incoming. Hopefully, Gary. And I'd be very happy if it was enough to get just into the top 100k. Liverpool being second in the league with 97 points that time is the craziest thing to happen. Yeah. They deserved a few more league titles, in my opinion, on the clock. But when you're up against City, who are an animal, especially with all the kind of context around those, successes, I think Liverpool did a great job, in my opinion. Star Romero or Borro, very close, but I'd go for Borro. Isak might be benched, yeah. A lot of people are saying it, but I'm not sure if they are to be trusted. So bench Onana, Gordon, Burn, Romero. Havertz or Eze for Gordon. I'd say Havertz over Eze, but then probably Elise over Havertz. Very close between the three. Or Salah and free up the 0.4 million I need for a -4 for transfer. I'd actually take the -4 and go for Salah, if you can. If Isak is benched, sell to Mateta for a -4 or play Romero. I'd play Romero. Close one though. Gabriel plus Eze or White and Elise? White and Elise. Hi Dylan, which one would you go for? Isak out, Gakpo, Nunez, or Garnacho out for Elliot Diaz? I can't afford Salah. I would go for Isak out for Gakpo, if it turns out that Isak is benched, of course. If I'm chasing, should I start Borro and Vicario Isak with the team above me like the start Petrovic, Jackson and bench Isak? 7-point difference. Well, I said Isak over Jackson for most of the stream, but a lot of rumours indicate that Isak will be benched, and as a result, I'd start Jackson over him. Thoughts on Gakpo? Decent differential. He's my second favourite Liverpool attacker right now, with Salah obviously being first. Foden or Palmer differential captain? It'd be Palmer. Hi Dylan, thanks for a great season. Thank you very much, John. Good luck in Gameweek 38. Saka starting? Yes for me. Gakpo or Mateta, says Murigu. Mateta. Roy says Gabriel, White, Gavardio and Borro. Which three to start? White, Gabriel and Gavardio for me. Son or Saka? Probably Son. Do I play Højlund, Gusto or Isak? I'd play Gusto based on the team news we're getting. It looks like Isak could be benched. With Son versus Saka, by the way, very close. I'd probably lean towards Son. That's my final answer. Watkins for Mateta. Trossard differential. I'd keep Watkins. I wouldn't sell him to Mateta, even though Palace are more likely to win, in my opinion. And yeah, Trossard differential is fine. Fleck into Raya -4, as I mentioned earlier, not for me. Who to bench between Petrovic and Onana and Burn, Borro, Dallo? I'd bench Dallo. Triple captain Salah or Haaland? Salah for me. Enjoyed your content all season, thanks. Thank you, Moon Knight. Abir says locked in. Pedro Borro, Gabriel, Gavardio, Havertz, Salah captain, Foden, Son, Palmer, Haaland, Mateta. Looks very good to me. No any complaints from myself. Total gamble. I sold Haaland for Salah and gave him the captaincy. Thoughts? I hope Haaland blank, City lose, and Liverpool win 5-6-0, and you get what you want. But it's risky. We all know that, and I personally think West Ham will be put to the sword. Should I sell Saka to Foden? I wouldn't sell him. Arsenal 4, Everton 0, Brentford, Newcastle, the Bees win 3-1, Luton 3-2 against Fulham, Spurs win 3-1, Moyes upset City 3-2, I wish. 3-1 Forest, Liverpool beat Wolves 5-0, Chelsea win 3-1, United Brighton 3-3, and Palace 4-2. So basically 1 clean sheet, which is Liverpool, right? Oh, 2 with Arsenal as well. Let's wait and see. Bruno or Havertz? I'd go for Havertz. Gordon to Elise and bench Isak for Solanke, or Gordon to KDB and Isak to Menis -4. I'd go for the first option, Diogo, and buy Elise and bench Isak. Cohen says, should I take a hit to bring in a defender? I have Dalot, Chalobah, Livramento, White, and Branthwaite. I probably would. So either Gvardiol, Borro, or an Arsenal defender. Thoughts on Isak and Gordon to Gakpo and Elise for -4? Yeah, and obviously you're a Liverpool fan, and your alternative is a -8 to buy Salah. I'd probably go for this one, to be fair. I'd buy Elise for sure, if that's possible. Who to bring in for Isak? Mateta springs to mind. Currently 750k. Captain Elise due to low ownership. Yeah, if you just want to go a bit different, why not? What's the best wildcard team? It's basically the best free hit team, which I covered the other day on Monday. It's pretty much the same. The free and the wildcard are exactly the same chip in Gameweek 38. There's no difference. So yeah, just check that video out and you'll see what I've gone for. And I did mention Elise throughout the video because he doesn't make the final cut. I went for a balance and I went for Havertz and Mateta, but you could easily go for Elise as well. No updates really since what we covered half an hour ago or before. It's time that the servers start slowing down. Don't say that, mate. I haven't made my transfer. I need to make it very soon. Buenos Dylan. Cheapest backup goalkeeper to dead end this game week. Cheers for another season. Thank you very much. Best backup goalkeeper, probably Ortega, but I'm guessing you have 3 City players already. So if you can't go to Ortega, who's 3.6 million, 3.7, I'd probably go for a Dubravka. Salah and Van de Ven, Kwanzaa or Trent and Gakpo. I'd go for Salah and Van de Ven. Start Bruno or Watkins? Bruno. No team leaks necessarily, just that Haaland starts. But we'll wait and see. Why didn't City just loan Palmer to Chelsea? A massive loss for them. Because Pep has this kind of ideology that if a player wants to leave, he just lets them go. He doesn't want to keep them hostage, basically. And Palmer wasn't going to get the game time he wanted. But yeah, they probably regret it a little bit. But City are still winning the league, probably. So not a massive loss. Thanks so much, Dylan. You're my most favourite FPL tipster. All the best to you and all the others. Thank you, LFC. Good luck. Hopefully you get the result you want today for your club and also in FPL. Thoughts on Son differential captain or Foden? I think from those two, I would favour Foden. But we're talking about fine margins here. Back your gut on that one and all the best. So Saka starts according to FPL South, a freelance journalist. All right, thank you for that. Yeah, I think Saka will start, but you always have a bit of apprehension because of the yellow flags and the constant injuries. Any probability of Havertz not starting? A very small chance in my opinion. I think he does. City news, Haaland starts. That's definite. Nothing else really. There's one source that said that there are no surprises and that Foden, Haaland and De Bruyne all start. So we'll wait and see. 30k happy days. Good luck, Gary. Maybe that can be even better. And a green arrow to round off the season. Final day was simulated 10 times. City lost 3 games in each of the simulations, but Arsenal lost twice in those 3. Right. Not really, not great. Elise or Havertz in for Gordon? I'm probably going for Elise. That's probably going to be my answer. There was one person earlier who said that Jackson has an X. I'm not sure where that came from, but I think Jackson starts, yeah. KDB starts according to Professor Lazy. Okay, thank you very much. That's a reliable source. KDB starts, says Jared. Yep. Is Gordon going to play? I don't think so. Gusto and Cucurella double up. Not a big fan. The only defensive double up I like is Arsenal. Hi Dylan, good luck for Gameweek 38 and thank you for another great season of fantastic videos, tips and advice. Greatly appreciate, deadly for you too. A long-time viewer of the channel and good luck for Gameweek 38. Captain Gakpo at 250k. If you're backing him, I honestly don't really mind that. He's been in great form recently. I do prefer Salah, you know, Foden, Palmer, all these players, but I think Gakpo's fine. How about Bruno, Gordon, and Isak to Salah, Mateta, and a 4.5 million mid for -4? Yeah, looks good to me, as long as you're not starting this 4.5 million midfielder. Thoughts on Johnson captain? I like differential captains, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure if I'd go for Johnson. I think Son is definitely the one to go for from that game. How many goals can you see Palace scoring versus Villa? 2 or 3. Petition for Dylan to do an Arsenal career mode on FC24 or FIFA. Yeah, every single year when I buy FIFA, I typically just, you know, win the league and everything with Arsenal, go unbeaten in the entire season, do a Leverkusen, but yeah. Foden starts confirmed. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. I kind of wished he wasn't starting from a non-FPL perspective. Isak to Mateta, yeah, looks good to me. Gakpo, Saka, Jackson start 2. Saka and Gakpo. I have a feeling that someone like Bernardo will score the most points in that City lineup. Yeah, it's typically someone you don't expect, right? I can see your moves there. Sorry, I can see your thought process. Gavardio's a captain as a differential to gain some rank. Honestly, look, it's not a bad call, but I personally think West Ham could score today, but it'll be like 4-1 City. Good luck, everyone. Likewise, Wei Seng. Yeah, I've been asked this before. I'll just do it now because, yeah, we're about to lock in. Wilson starts. Yeah, if the rumours are to be believed and Isak's benched, you would expect Wilson to start. Salah in for Son for a hit and captain him. I'd probably say no, just because you're selling Son for a hit. But I do like Salah, and I think bringing him for a hit is definitely worth it. But it's just selling Son that kind of bugs me. Best differential captain? I'd say Salah. Gordon to Havertz, Isak to Gakpo -4. Jackson will be benched. Good moves. Right, I see what you're saying. Yeah, looks good to me. Isak or Mateta? I'd go for Mateta. Surely a hit isn't worth it with 1 week to go. The thing is, though, certain hits can pay off. It's just the chances of it paying off are less likely. So I see what you're saying. Chances of a Newcastle clean sheet? Not that likely, in my opinion. I don't see many clean sheets in general. Chasing 8 points, Johnson to Elise for a -4. Yeah. I mean, selling Johnson once again, facing Sheffield United could backfire, but I think Elise is a massive upgrade. Start Jackson or Manice? Jackson. All right, it's time to lock in my final team. So that is sorted. Yes, I see. Ooh, that's going to be a bit of a tricky one. Okay. Okay, I think that's going to be sorted. All right, so for my own team now, let's get this done. Transfer section. So my original plan was to sell Bruno to either Havertz or Elise and go for a 3-4-3. But with the rumours that Isak could miss out today or be on the bench, I think I'm going to go for this. Gordon to Elise as my final transfer of the season. Elise with a very high ceiling, and I'll go for a 3-5-2 setup. So yeah, Gordon to Elise looks pretty settled. I'm going to do it. So there you go. The site hasn't crashed just yet, but try to make your transfers now. I don't want to bench Elise, that's for sure. And yeah, Isak dropped to the bench. Elise starts, and that's pretty much it. Just a free transfer, no hits. Haven't taken any since wildcarding in 35. And yeah, Captain Haaland, Palmer Vice. There might be a late change for the captaincy, but apart from that, I think pretty much everything else is the exact same. So just in case, I have the transfers tab ready. And if I were to make another move, what would it be? I don't think it'd be anything else, really, to be fair. But yeah, a captaincy move is probably the only late change that you could see me making. All right. Let's whiz through these now since we only have 5 minutes left. Out of these three, who would you bench out of Bruno, Jackson, or Mateta? I would bench... I think I'd bench Bruno Fernandes out of those three. Gavardio as a captain, yeah, covered. Going for it in Cuckoo in, Isak out. Good luck, mate. I wish you the best. Starting Isak, nope. I benched him. It could be a mistake, but there you go. Isak to Gakpo and bench Jackson. To be honest, I'd just start Jackson. I do like Gakpo this week, but I think I'd start Jackson there. Twisted Parky says... Yeah, I did cover your question, Twisted Parky. I did cover it. Yeah, I'd go for Havertz, in for Gordon. But yeah, or Salah and free up the 0.4 million. I'd take the -4 hit and go for Salah, Twisted Parky. Havertz or Saka in. I do prefer Saka this week, but Havertz is a differential. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. But I personally prefer Saka. I don't have the funds to go for him. What kind of black magic does Liverpool use to play Wolves at home in Gameweek 38 every year? It's just the Premier League scheduling, to be honest. I don't think it's black magic. Gordon to Elise for -4 worth it? I think so, yeah. El Padrino says, I did that, cheers. Good to hear. Hey Dylan, thanks for the great season insights. Thank you very much, Marigu. Apparently Haaland, Foden and De Bruyne all start, so nothing really that big. Bowen is benched and Paqueta starts for West Ham. Palmer or Elise captain? Palmer. Thoughts on Trossard as a differential? I'm on board. I do prefer Odegaard, Saka and Havertz, but Trossard is very, very important for Arsenal. Start Dubravka or Henderson? Probably Dubravka. Start Dalot or Burn? Burn. Riot in for a -8. You did say selling Flecken though, and I just don't really see why I have to sell him for a hit, to be honest. Elliott for Bailey for a -4 is good. The thing is, Bailey could still score today, or get some returns. I think I'd keep Bailey. Start Garnacho or Saliba? Saliba. Start Cucurella or Isak? Based on the news we're seeing, probably I'd start Cucurella. Gavardio starts, says FPL Tony. Yeah, thank you, Ruben. Best of luck, Dylan. Start Isak, Jackson or White? I'd start Ben White. I play with Liverpool on FC24 career mode on Legendary. I only lost 2 games in 3 seasons. Yeah, I play on Legendary too. I've tried a few games on Ultimate, but Legendary is kind of what I typically go for. No worries, Twisted Parky. Isak to Jackson? Yeah, I think so. If the rumours are to be believed, which I'm still a bit apprehensive about. Salah or Haaland captain? Salah. Isak not starting, says Ivy. Yeah, doesn't look like it. No. Right, I think I'm going to have to make a move with my family members' team. So, you know what? I think I'm going to... That's a tricky one, because then take a -4 hit for them, or... You know what? I think I'm just going to go for this. Van der Ven in for Isak. And Gordon... Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so that team is sorted as well. Yeah, let's get this stream to 150 likes. We're literally 7 away. Thank you to those that have done so already. And we're going to whiz through the last few questions. Did Havertz, my bad, take a -4? No worries. I mean, Havertz is still a good transfer. If you can buy Salah for a -4, I'd do it. So yeah, KDB starts. Havertz for Son for a -4? No. I just keep what you have. At the mighty Stamford Bridge now, Dylan. Good luck and thank you for this season. I'm off. Enjoy Jazabi, and should be a good one. Ipsy says once again, Dylan, thank you for another amazing season of FPL content. Muchas gracias. Likewise to you for tuning in. Captain Elise, trust the process. I'm not really against that. Foden captain, here we go. Good luck, Wei Seng, although I'm hoping for all Man City players to blank, but it's not going to happen. Havertz and Elise or Salah and Mateta? Probably Salah and Mateta. Anana or Leno this week? Leno. Gusto or Porro? I'd go for Porro. Eze or Isak, who to bench? I'd bench Isak. Have the exact same team as you. Appreciate your content and enjoy the final game week. Likewise, Tommy Raw, and good luck. Jackson out, Gakpo in, -4. I'd keep Jackson. Haaland was 1 penalty shootout close to winning a back-to-back treble at 23. Good thing it didn't happen. Gavardio hat-trick? Hopefully not. Start Dalot or Burn? Burn. Bruno to Havertz -4? I'd keep Bruno. Menis or Mateta? Mateta. Fernandes to Havertz for a -4 worth it. Already done Gordon to Elise. I'd keep Fernandes, and yeah, Gordon to Elise looks very good. Got Luis Diaz in my team. Hopefully he cooks. Good luck, Leonardo. Would you vice Haaland or Palmer? I prefer Haaland over Palmer as a captain, which is why I've gone for it myself, so that pretty much answers it. Thank you, Tronix. Gavardio starts, says Chew. Went with my Liverpool boys, Elliott and Gakpo, got nothing to lose. Yeah, and that might result in more enjoyment for you, which is a good thing. Isak starts. Oh, Jesus Christ, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, well, it's done. It's honestly done. Hopefully blanks, if that's the case. But yeah, you just can't trust the leaks, can you? Thank you, Dylan, for the amazing content all season. Thank you very much, Desma. My team, same, and yours except Havertz and Akanji. Not sure another transfer helps. Yeah, Havertz and Akanji. It's not too shabby, to be fair. I think Havertz could do really well for you. Yeah, locked in a whiley. Thank you, Jay. FPL challenge. I'll try to go through that quickly. Did a last-minute switch from Saka to Havertz. Good luck, Nuclear Atoms. Buena suerte, Dylan. Gracias por tus consejos durante la temporada. Saludos desde Colombia. Thank you very much, Martin. And buena suerte para esta jornada. Y ojalá que disfrutes el fútbol. Chasing at least 9 points. Stuck with Haaland captain, but I have Gavardio, Salah, Mateta, and Saka as differentials. Yeah, good luck, mate. Hopefully you can overcome that deficit. Locked in, we are indeed. Oh, come on, Isak is playing. Yeah, well, maybe it's a blessing in disguise, or maybe it's going to result in more lost points, and I just hope it's not the difference between top 100k and not, but whatever. It is what it is. I benched him, same here. Leonardo says, my 11, Raya, Gavardio, Gabriel, Borro, Saka, Diaz, KDB, Palmer, Mateta, Haaland, Nkuku, bench boost, Flecken, Bailey, Senesi, Doughty. Good luck, Leonardo. Solid team. Very good defensive line. And yeah, not many complaints about the attack as well. Locked in, thank you as well. 101 TOZ. Thank you, 24k Will. Same team as you. Wanted to get Trossard but couldn't afford, so went with Elise. Yeah. I think Trossard was a good differential, but I do prefer Elise regardless. All the best to you as well, Chelsea Blues. Elise is the viable captain if you want a chance to climb. Yeah, I think so. But I just think West Ham will get decimated, so I went for Haaland. Thank you, Ashish. All the best for the last game week. We'll meet soon. Yep, I'll see you very soon. Enjoy the football. This guy, Isak, yeah. You can't trust Eddie Howe or certain pages. I'm very sure those pages that said Isak is benched will now say that, well, just delete their post. Did the boring transfer, no hits, would have gone for Salah and Elliott or Gakpo, but would have cost too many hits. But I have a feeling Liverpool will have fun today. Yeah, I think Liverpool will score 3 or 4. I can see that happening. Not sure about EFL Fantasy. I'll have a look, but I don't think so. Yeah, time's up. Hopefully you get sent off. I wouldn't mind that. The Newcastle lineup came out just 3 minutes from NUFC Will. He did get wrong before. We'll wait and see who's right or wrong, but yeah. Wouldn't surprise me if Isak starts now. I rate Brentford highly. Not even mad if Isak starts. Happy with the transfer. Well, Brentford are in good form now, so just have to hope that they keep things tight at the back. All right, so yeah, hopefully Bruno scores Isak now, definitely. Otherwise, I'll be crying. And I don't want to cry on the last day of the season, which I probably will anyway because of the title race. Anyway, let's forget about that. Let's go to FPL Challenge and build a bloody team. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this now. It will be a difficult one. So, goalkeeper. 1 player from each team. Might have to go without Haaland as well. Striker. It's going to be a difficult one. 1 player from each team. As for Arsenal, defender or midfielder, or yeah, tricky one. Just going to go for something like this. Raya. I'd say Son. Midfielders, maybe Fernandes. I honestly have no idea with this. I'm going to have to give this a good thought. I might even go for Gabriel, White or Saliba. Drop Raya for another goalkeeper. So yeah, that's definitely not set in stone. But yeah, FPL Challenge, who even knows at this point? But yeah, I got 139 points last week. The week before that, I got 210. So it's been quite good for me recently. A lot of double gamings, of course, do help. But yeah, it's looking pretty solid right now. We are 6 likes away from 150. Be sure to get this stream to 150 plus overall before we leave. And you know what? Let's do predictions first. That might help me with my FPL Challenge team. So Arsenal versus Everton. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Arsenal. Brentford versus Newcastle. 1-1. Brighton versus Man United. 2-2. Burnley versus Nottingham Forest, 2-1 Nottingham Forest. Chelsea versus Bournemouth. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Chelsea. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa. I think 3-2 Crystal Palace. Liverpool versus Wolves. I'm going to go for a 3-0. 3-0? 3-1? 3-0? I'm going to go for 3-1 Liverpool. Luton Town versus Fulham. Another high-scoring game I could see. And I think I'm going to go for a 3-3. Why not? Man City West Ham. Probably 4-0. 3-0. Yeah, 3-0 Man City. Sheffield United versus Spurs. I'm going to go for 4-1 Tottenham. So there you go. Those are my predictions for the last games of the season. Some of them aren't really locked in fully, but let's see if I can actually build this FPL Challenge team. I can't guarantee it, to be honest. It's going to be a tricky one. And that's it. Not my best season in terms of rank, but a lot of fun. Thank you again, Dylan. Good to hear, Salah. Hopefully you can improve upon it next season. It's my worst rank, even if I get into the top 100k, but it is what it is. Good luck, Dylan. Decided to bring in Mateta and Salah captain. Hope it goes well for the final time this season. Yep, likewise, Cylindra. Good luck. Enjoy the football. Alan Pereira says, good luck, Dylan. Have been a great season indeed. Thanks for all the expertise. I appreciate it. Sometimes I get it wrong. Just offering my opinions and having some fun in the process. France is going to win the Euros, in my opinion. Yeah, Euros is always difficult to predict. France haven't won in ages, though. It's about time they win one. Thank you, Awali. As he says, smash the like button and subscribe for new. Who will win the Euros this year? For me, it's between England, and I never say England, by the way, England, France, and Portugal. I think one of those three will win it. If I had to pick one right now, you know what? I'm going to say England, and I never say England. John Green says, thanks, Dylan. Great to have someone who answers so many questions. See you next season. Currently 7,722, so fingers crossed for the top 10k. It should be done. Hopefully you can get a green arrow, John, and I appreciate the kind words. Thank you as well to Zakif. Pickford, says Gary. Yeah, maybe just to jinx him. Start with midfielder striker first. Yeah, probably the best way to go about it. Cheers, Dylan. Thanks so much for all the help. Good luck this game week. Yeah, you too, Leonardo. Go with Turner and Foderingham. Yes, I'm trolling. I've seen some people have him, Turner, in their Gameweek 38 challenge team. My final free-hit lineup was goalkeeper Raya, White, Trent, Gvardiol, Salah, Elise, Palmer, Foden, Havertz, Gakpo, Haaland, captain. Looks very solid. Gakpo could be a nice one. Really could. This was the last week, so bought in Havertz for Saka, as I didn't own him before. Let's see how that turns out. I really do back Saka, though. You could get Manise, Doughty, Wood, etc. in challenge, maybe. You could be right about that. Salah, Dylan, says JP. Yeah. Are you doing a watch-along? Like I mentioned earlier, no, probably not. I'm likely to be out during the games. I might do a reaction stream after the games are done, but if not, it will probably be later this week, or I'll talk about it in my community tab, basically. But watch-along, no. Good luck, Dylan. Hopefully hit top 100k and see you in Euro Fantasy Football maybe or next year. Thank you, Redder. Hopefully you achieve your objective as well. And yeah, Euro Fantasy Football is likely. And once I know for sure, I'll confirm it. Thank you, Dylan, for this season. Only FPL content creator I interact with. Keep it up and see you next season. It's great to hear. And good luck, Callum. Enjoy the football. And I'll probably see you in the summer. Best season out of the three I've done. Great to hear, Gary. It's my worst one, but still enjoyed it for the most of it. And yeah, hopefully you can improve upon your best season or your best rank in the last 3 seasons anyway. Cheers, Dylan, and thank you for all the help you've provided. Likewise, Nuclear Arms, for all the updates in the live chat on team news. Good luck as well. Man United is finished. Games kick off over here in Thailand at 10 p.m. Wish they could kick off just a little bit earlier. Oh well. Yeah. I mean, 10 p.m. isn't too bad, but if you're waking up at 6, 7 and, you know, on Monday, I can see where the pain is. So yeah, that's a bit frustrating, isn't it? Yeah, the time difference, of course, is a bit mad, isn't it? I've experienced it myself when I've gone on holiday, like last year to Argentina, and it's not nice. I had to do streams the day before so I could do it at a normal time, so to speak. Arsenal 3, Everton 0, says Twisted Parky. Brentford 2-2 against Newcastle. Brighton 3, United 2. Burnley 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 0. Palace 2, Villa 1. Liverpool 4, Wolves 0. Luton Town 0, Fulham 2. Man City 5, West Ham 1, Sheffield United 1, Spurs 3. Yeah, good predictions. I'm on board with most of them. Similar results, just different scorelines. But yeah, I've kind of got a similar feeling about this week as well. Let's see if I can finally build this bloody team. probably best, as people said, to focus on the attackers first. So, yeah. Should I go for a Havertz? Since I don't have him in normal FPL, as I thought I could. So Havertz in there. Haaland. Strikers. Who'd even bloody go for here? Watkins? Just too expensive, though. Yeah, I think with FPL Challenge, I'm going to have to give it a bit of a think, because I don't think I'm going to get it done in this stream, to be quite honest with you. If we're being realistic, I don't think that'll be the case. I think Arsenal can, but it depends on the summer. They have to get the signings right, get a midfielder, get a striker, probably a defender as well. Obviously, if they don't get a striker, they need a winger. They need one of those for sure. But yeah, I think Arsenal are the most likely. But you never know. Maybe Liverpool pop up again. You just never know. Football's a funny game. Things change very quickly. It could just take one or two signings to propel one of the other teams to really rise to the occasion. But I think it'll be Arsenal. I think Arsenal... You know what? I think Arsenal will win the league eventually. But I just don't know when exactly. Whether it's today, which is unlikely, if it's next season, or the one after. Manisa or Wood, Sisters to Parky, yeah. I'll bear those choices in mind when building this team, because one from each squad is quite a difficult task. Good luck, Dylan. I meet you again during the UCL deadline stream and Euro Fantasy Football. Yeah, I'll see you then, Sudindra. UCL Fantasy content will be headed your way within the next week or so in preparation for Matchday 13, the Champions League final. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're 2 likes away from 150, so be sure to get us to that milestone. It'd be massively appreciated as always. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and check all the other links like my Discord server, FPL League, FPL Challenge, also the championships, the Patreon, all of that is there. Patreon.com/DylanRCM. Check out Drafthound, which is a great resource going into next season. I'd highly recommend you try it out as a pro Patreon member. And also Spotify and Amazon Music. Leave a 5-star review on my podcast. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. It has been a blast talking to you for the entire season. This is the last FPL deadline stream for the campaign. There's more content though for UCL Fantasy, potentially Euro Fantasy Football over the summer, and of course for the Premier League going into next season. Take care, enjoy the football, and I'll see you next time.